Also, does it matter which lineup I do first?
Do us
Us
first.
first, okay.
Yeah.
The final new destination in the Cape Cod Baseball League. We welcome you to Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts for more Wareham Gatemen baseball as the Gatemen take on the Brewster Whitecaps in the second of a home-and-home series. Hi everybody, JD Rachi along with you, alongside my broadcast partner Henrique Demore. We are welcoming you to a beautiful night here for baseball. An early start because there are no lights here at Stony Brook Field, but it should be a good one between the Wareham Gatemen and the Brewster Whitecaps. Last time these two teams met, well, it was just yesterday. A 4-1 win for the Wareham Gatemen over the Brewster Whitecaps at Spillane Field, and really Connor Lunn got it started for the Gatemen, Henrique.
Connor Lunn was absolutely awesome. It was a bummer that the innings limit from his coaches at USC kicked in because his stuff was some of the best we'd seen it all year. Yes, it was against a weaker Brewster lineup, but these are still some of the best players in the Cape, and Lunn was still just as masterful. He had his firm fastball, a nice breaking ball, and it was some of the nastiest breaking stuff we'd seen, but he also had his command absolutely on point. Just one walk over 5 innings for him, and he started challenge hitters, which Cam Stewart had mentioned on our post-game show and what we mentioned on the broadcast. He went after hitters, and he got the better of them.
And just 9 hits on the night for Wareham, but they translated it into 4 runs, and perhaps the most impressive part of the offense was the fact that the Gatemen, who have at times struggled this season doing this, left just 5 runners on base yesterday. Brewster left 6 on with 5 hits in their 1 run. Bullpen was also great for the Gatemen. Nathan Florence gave up 1 run, but it didn't really end up mattering. Ryan Stoudemire might just be the new closer for Wareham moving forward.
I was really, really impressed with Stoudemire. I mean, he had okay numbers coming in, but it had been a really up-and-down season for him. But I was impressed with what the sophomore from Charleston Southern was able to do. He got into a little bit of trouble command-wise. Early on, we did have the 1 walk, but also the 1 strikeout, no hits in his 5-out save. And it's going to be interesting to see because guys like Tyler Kaiser, who we thought might early on have been that closer type, and just as the bullpen gets stretched a little more, some guys you'd put in long relief now become starters, a la Easton Lucas. It becomes more interesting, and I mean, the Gatemen haven't had a designated closer this year. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Stoudemire keeps that role, at least until he falls apart again.
Should be a good one here not from Spillane Field, from Stony Brook Field, I should say, right next to Stony Brook Elementary School. And it's a matchup that we've only seen twice this season. The Gatemen have won both, but both of them have been pretty close games. And moving forward, the Brewster is the worst team in the league by pretty much every metric, including record, coming into the game at 4-18-3 on the season. But baseball is a beautiful game like that. Beautiful is not a baseball game. Baseball is a beautiful game in that anything can happen on any given night, and it should be a good matchup between the Brewster Whitecaps and the Gatemen today. All right, that'll do it for Henrique and I right now, and we're going to toss it just a couple of feet to my left with today's host, our beat writer, Ian Vicera.
Thanks, guys. Doing a little pinch hitting duty today, so let's get you the starting pitching matchup. So for Brewster, Chris Murphy is going to be the starter for the Whitecaps. He's going to be a junior at San Diego. He's a left-hander. In his college career, he's 6-5 with a 4.20 ERA this past season. He's a good strikeout guy, 91 strikeouts and 81 in the 3rd inning, so he has really electric stuff. K's a lot of guys out there on the mound. However, in the Cape League so far, he's struggled. An 8.71 ERA, and his whip is up there at 2.23. Granted, it's just been 10 in the 3rd innings, but he's also had that strikeout pitch working. 18 strikeouts so far of Cape hitters, so he's really making him look foolish. However, 9 walks, been a control issue for him. We'll see if the Gatemen out there today can work some walks out of him. And then over on the Wareham side of things, Tyler Ahern gets his first start of the year. The right-hander is a sophomore at FSU. He's 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA. Granted, he's had just 2 appearances. In his last time out against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, he pitched 3 innings and allowed 3 runs. And in his Gateman debut, he allowed no runs in just 1 inning pitched. And before today's game, our own Mary Orders had a chance to catch up with him.
Thanks, guys. So, Tyler, it's your first start tonight here on the Cape League. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Just trying to stay calm, focused, and just when I get out there, compete.
And what are some things you've been working on in practice and with Coach Lawler?
Kind of just like timing, using your voice, kind of just attacking and working on the slider a lot.
And what about the slider have you been working on?
Kind of just grip, just throwing it with intent, and that's about it.
So we're more than halfway through the season. What has been one of your favorite things or some of your favorite things about being on the Cape and in this league?
Kind of just hanging with the boys, meeting new people, making friends, and just getting better.
Lastly, with Connor leaving yesterday and Matulovic already gone, what are you guys going to have to do to kind of step up for the team?
Everyone's just going to play a big role. I'm sure someone's going to come in too, but kind of just compete, and we'll miss them, but everyone's just going to have to step up and compete.
Tyler, thanks so much and good luck tonight. Guys, back to you. Thank you.
And thank you, Mary, for that sideline report with our starter tonight, Tyler Ahern. And now for the starting lineups. First for the Wareham Gatemen. In left field, Jeremy Idens leads it off, and he's back after an off day yesterday. Sahid Valenzuela bats second and plays second. Batting third, the third baseman, Austin Shenton. Batting fourth, Lyle Lockhart. Fifth, the catcher today, Gian Martellini. Sixth, getting the spot start today in the designated hitter spot is Cade Cavalli. Batting seventh, once again, is Ryan Kryler, following a good outing yesterday in which he had 2 hits and a home run. Batting eighth, moving down from the leadoff spot from last night, is the right fielder Isaac Collins. And back in center field tonight is Skylar Hunter from Purdue. And once again, Tyler Ahern on the hill for the Gatemen. As for the Whitecaps, Dominic Canzone leads it off in left field. Batting second is Ray Alejo, the right fielder. Batting third is the second baseman, Mike Massey. Batting fourth, Jesse Franklin from Michigan. Fifth, Cam Eden, the shortstop from Cal Berkeley. Sixth, Hunter Bishop from ASU. Seventh, Joe Donovan, the catcher from Michigan. Batting eighth, Brandon Mortorano, the DH. And batting ninth, to round it out, Christian Molfetta, the third baseman from Stanford. And once again, pitching for the Whitecaps is Chris Murphy, the left-hander out of San Diego. And now we're going to toss it over to our sideline reporter, Mary Orders, who got a chance to catch up with Don Sneddon before the game.
Thanks, guys. So, Coach, we talked about momentum a few games ago in the game.
Not as bad as if you aren't playing well. We played well for a good 8 innings on the first game we lost, and then we let it go in the 7th inning. So we got to play 9 innings. That's the call that I've been trying to get these guys. Play 9 innings. Play every inning. Try to compete. Win every inning. Then you win the ball game. So the pitching's a big key of that, obviously. And we got enough pitching last night to keep them off balance. So today we got some guys that haven't, quote, been our start type things thrown, so we're real anxious to see if they can step up and fill that role for us.
Yeah, and speaking of pitchers, with Matulovic and Lund now gone, what are the guys going to have to do to step up?
Well, just again, we recruited them for them to pitch, so they just got to do what they came here to do, and that's pitch. So I think they got the ability, and we just hope that mentally they can make that adjustment and know that they can pitch in the Cape, because sometimes it's just a mental adjustment. They think this is bigger than what it actually is.
Do you think they get nervous of the competition a little bit?
Yeah, well, sure, you're intimidated a little bit. The Cape's the best in the summer and the best hitters and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. If you throw a fastball down the way, they can't hit it. If you throw a fastball over the middle of the plate, these guys hit it. Where maybe in their college they might get away with that one pitch, but they don't do that here. They don't miss them.
We noticed you were practicing bunting a little bit over there. Is that something you're focusing on?
Yeah, we're terrible. So basically, we have to make that a part of our game, because when we do bunt, the game's on the line. So some of these guys haven't bunted, which is a shock to me. It's one of the skills you have to be a complete baseball player. Plus, it also helps them hit them. Helps with their tracking, a few other things. So I'm going to spend some time with them here this next week and see if we can improve that skill.
And what are some keys to tonight's game?
key's just going to be our pitching. This is going to be the bottom line. We know they have good pitching. They've been a little snake bitten that, so our pitching is going to be the key. We can't give them free bases, just like they did last night. I think they only walked us once or whatever. We had to earn all of our runs. So we're going to have to do the same thing with them. We just got to keep their chances to score at a minimum, and that means don't walk people.
Coach, thanks so much. Guys, back to you. Thank you.
And we'd like to thank our very own Mary Orders for that sideline update with manager John Sneddon. And as always, the Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you that you can contact us at any time by emailing gatemen@pressbox.org. Please feel free to send us your questions or comments, and we'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. And as always, make sure you're keeping up with all the Gatemen action 24/7 by following the Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Once again, that email is gatemen@pressbox.org. And now for the rest of the pregame and the broadcast, we turn it over to Henrique Demore and JD Rachi.
Thank you very much, Ian. Maybe the best pinch hit appearance we've ever had here at the Gatemen Baseball Network. And when I say maybe, I mean absolutely. The best pinch hit appearance we have had this season or in any season here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Ian, our beat writer, make sure to follow him on Twitter at Ian_Visera for all of his writing. He is a wonderful writer, and we really want to thank him for helping us out in a pinch. Things getting almost ready to go here from Brewster. It'll be the Gatemen and the Brewster Whitecaps for the second night in a row. Don Sneddon and Jamie Shevchuk, the managers at home plate, with tonight's umpires. Let's tell you who the umpires are today. At first base, or at home plate, it'll be Mark Reardon, Emerson. At first base, Rick Emerson. At first, we're having some problems. Home plate, Rick Emerson. First base, John Reardon. And third base, Mike Delaney. Those are the umpires. Once again, to avoid confusion, home plate, Rick Emerson. First base, John Reardon. And third base, Mike Delaney. Those will be the three umpires today, making up the umpiring crew here at Stony Brook Field. And Henrique, looking back at last night, a 4-1 win for the Gatemen. But this is the second close game that they played against Brewster. As we mentioned, bottom of the league, negative 62 run differential on the season. A team that really gets beat up on a lot. What do the Gatemen have to do better to maybe get a more convincing win today?
I think it starts with getting the bats going early, especially against a starter like Murphy, who has struggled, as Ian said, mightily this year. The control's been an issue. He's a strikeout guy, though. I mean, the number that jumps off the page for him is 18 strikeouts in 10 innings, which is unbelievably impressive. Those are Ryan Pepio-type numbers that we saw, from Hyannis. But what's been tough with Wright is, like Ian said, a 2.0 ER or a 2.0 WHIP and a 8+ ERA. Clearly, he hasn't found his mojo yet, and the Gatemen, they have an opportunity here to either pound him into the dirt and unfortunately kind of ruin his summer, make him go for his third or fourth straight consecutive rough appearance, or he has a chance to bounce back against a Gatemen lineup that against Brewster has been slow to get going. And credit Ben Dragani yesterday for Michigan. He was absolutely awesome. He was left in a little too long, but given the state of the bullpen, you can sort of understand why. That being said, I think the Gatemen need to get the bats going early and show this Brewster team who's boss, and then, and show them why the Gatemen have the best run differential in the Cape and the Brewster has the worst.
I was talking to Brewster Whitecaps broadcaster Tim Leonard before the game, and he said that Chris Murphy might be their second best arm after Ben Dragani, might be one of their best arms. The ERA just hasn't been there this season. He's a good pitcher, left-hander, so he's got a little bit of deception coming out of his hand. Good breaking ball, great stuff, strikeout stuff for Brewster, but really he just hasn't been able to put the numbers together on the Cape. And then one other thing we should talk about, Ian Visera mentioned it in the pregame show. Cade Cavalli is DHing tonight. What are you expecting for him from the plate?
He is technically a two-way guy, but I think it's going to be up to the Gatemen to give him a low-leverage situation to bat in. I think if he's able to focus on himself, just try to see ball, hit ball, he will be just fine.
First pitch just a couple of minutes away, but we want to take a quick pause and let you hear the national anthem tonight from Stony Brook Field.
Shirley and
Wonderful rendition of the national anthem and the Star-Spangled Banner, as always, here from Stony Brook Field. The Brewster Whitecaps are on the field, and the Gatemen are getting ready to come to the plate. It will be the left-hander out of San Diego, Chris Murphy, to get things started for Brewster. He leads the Whitecaps out onto the field in their white home uniforms. Whitecaps written in block letters across the front in a teal coloring, outlined in black with a black swoosh underneath. The numbers are just below that Whitecaps lettering on the left rib cage. Blue sleeves on the short sleeve uniform, so teal and blue sleeves on the sides with white pants and no piping down either side. The caps tonight for the Brewster Whitecaps are white with a black bill, the Brewster B right on front in teal colors. For the Gatemen tonight, it'll be the cranberry uniforms. First time we are seeing these uniforms for the Gatemen in the regular season here in 2018. A cranberry maroon coloring. Written on the front is Gatemen in blue, navy blue lettering. Kind of that Boston Red Sox-esque style in terms of font. Blue lettering outlined in white and red. On the back, the numbers are in blue, outlined in white. The pants are gray tonight with blue piping. So the left-hander Chris Murphy gets things started for the Brewster Whitecaps tonight. As we've mentioned, it's been a bit of a struggle for him in the early part of his Cape League season. An 8.71 ERA in 5 games, just one start. In 10 1/3 innings, he's given up 14 hits, 10 runs all earned, 9 walks, 18 strikeouts, with a .318 batting average against. First man that he'll face off with is Jeremy Idens, the right-handed hitting left fielder out of UCLA. And we're almost ready for baseball here at Stony Brook Field.
Jeremy Idens back in that leadoff spot, pushing Isaac Collins down to the 8 hole, as was previewed by our Ian Becerra. And Collins really has had a lot of his best production from the bottom of the lineup. He was slotted in there as the 8 and as the right fielder early on. He had his first home run of the regular season, has hit from contact there all season.
First pitch to Jeremy Idens is hit on the ground right to the shortstop Cameron Eden. Smooth, strong transition and a throw on to first is in time. Quickly out number 1. First pitch today coming in at 5:05, 5 minutes later than scheduled. So 1 up, 1 down here against Chris Murphy. He's a strikeout guy, so we're not expecting to see a ton of ground balls from the left-hander out of San Diego, but he does induce one from Jeremy Idens to start this game. Now Sahid Valenzuela, the switch-hitting second baseman, bats right. First pitch into him is a fastball that misses up and away, 1-0.
Valenzuela, not a great day yesterday, 0 for 4, but did manage to be productive via the RBI groundout. Otherwise, he's been continuing his hitting ways, hitting in the high 300s this year.
1-0 pitch, misses low and away, 2-0. He's hitting .357 to be exact on the season. This is 14th game of the year with Wareham. 20 hits, 5 doubles, and a home run for him, along with 10 RBIs. Murphy out of the full windup, lug kick pitch is swung on and popped up to the right side, but it will get out of play and foul. Defense tonight for Brewster, Christian Malfetta, the Stanford Cardinal, at third base, Cameron Eden at shortstop, Mike Massey at second, and Jesse Franklin at first, Joe Donovan behind the plate for Brewster. Then in the outfield from left to right, Dominic Canzone in left, Hunter Bishop in center field, and Ray Alejo, the right fielder from UCF, out in right. 2 balls and a strike here to Sahid Valenzuela. Chris Murphy brings the tan glove in front of his face, rocks back, kicks high and fires. 2-1 popped up straight back. We'll do it again, 2-2 now.
But going back to, like you said, JD, that home run by Sahid Valenzuela really, I think, told us a lot of what we needed to know about this kid. It was a line drive home run that snuck over the left field wall and foul pole at Spillane Field, but he hits with power. Not with traditional power, but he hits the ball hard. Line drives and hard ground balls from both sides of the plate. That home run was probably the squarest ball he's hit all year.
2-2 to him is fouled off right towards us, but we're stopped by the chain link fence from picking up a souvenir. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes as Austin Shenton picks it up and hands it off to one of the Gatemen bat boys today. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Sahid Valenzuela at the plate with Chris Murphy on the mound. The 2-2 from the left-hander. Misses up and in with a fastball. 3 balls and 2 strikes now, a full count. Valenzuela, with just 2 walks on the season, so the on-pace percentage only 22 points higher than his very high .357 batting average. The payoff pitch from the left-hander Murphy fouled off again. Good fight from Zahid Valenzuela. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Valenzuela, along with that low walk number, I mean, that's just kind of the guy he is. 6 strikeouts in his 56 at-bats this year. He puts the ball in play, and that's what contributes to his .357 hitting percentage. Hit the ball hard on the ground. With his speed, he's found a lot of success.
3-2. Misses outside. Walk number 3 of the year for Zahid Valenzuela. Now runner on at first for the Cape Cod Baseball League's best hitter, Austin Shenton. And Valenzuela didn't walk a ton at Cal State Fullerton this year either. Just 10 walks to 39 strikeouts in 57 games. So not a big walk guy, as you mentioned. Puts a lot of stuff in play. But walks here. Good job to induce a walk from a strikeout guy in Chris Murphy, especially with a 2-strike count. So now Murphy will work out of the stretch from the first time today, straddling the third base side of the rubber. His first pitch to Austin Shenton misses below the knees, 1-0. Shenton, as we mentioned, the top average in the Cape League, .405 coming into today. How about the OPS at .1059 on the season? Through 25 games, he's got 32 hits and 5 doubles to go along with 2 home runs. Ball and no strikes, the pitch home from Murphy. First time we've seen the breaking ball, but it misses outside as well, 2-0.
And for those of you keeping score at home, this is game number 26 on the year for both these teams, but for the Gatemen specifically. So Shenton, an everyday guy, third base and DH for him, which makes his numbers all the more astounding and just the longevity of the pace he's kept it up at.
2-0 from Murphy. Fastball on the inside corner for a called strike, 2-1. Shenton had a bit of a down day yesterday, and I say down, he still picked up a hit, but went just 1 for 4 at the plate against Brewster last night. Murphy looks over to first where Valenzuela stands. The 2-1 rides up and in on a fastball, 3 balls and a strike. And this is kind of what Brewster broadcaster Tim Leonard was talking about. The stuff is good for Murphy. He just has a lot of problems locating it, and that leads to either a lot of walks or a lot of hits when he leaves stuff up. And these Cape League hitters can take advantage. That's why the whip is over 2 on the season. 3 balls and a strike. Belt high set, the pitch. Swung on and popped up high and shallow into right center field. Both the center fielder and Ray Alejo come over, and Ray Alejo cuts off the center fielder Hunter Bishop to make the play for out number 2.
You can see Alejo was fighting with the sun on that one. Didn't have the best read on it, but it stayed up in the sky long enough for him to make the grab. Played center field yesterday, in right field today. Left to right, Canzone, Bishop, and Alejo. Canzone, a late sub in yesterday's ball game. We saw him the first time these two teams played out of Ohio State, but today getting the start out there in left.
So now Lyle Lockhart bats. Switch hitter batting right against the lefty Chris Murphy. Murphy looks at first, and Valenzuela is pitch home. Called strike on the outer half at the knees. Fastball 0-1. Lockhart coming into today with a .222 average, but the on-base percentage is fantastic for him. .364 over 140 points better. 0-1 outside. Throw back down to first base, but Valenzuela is back in there with a lunge. Joe Donovan tried the pick play, the back pick, but it wasn't there. But it still is 0-2 now. Lyle Lockhart, the Houston Cougar, trying to get the bat going a little bit more here as the Cape season progresses. The 0-2, Valenzuela's off. Throw is up, pitched or throw down, and he is meat at second base. A great throw from Joe Donovan. Caught stealing 2-6 is Zahid Valenzuela, and with that, the side is retired. The Gatemen go 1-2-3 in a sense. Lyle Lockhart would have been the 4th batter of the game. He will come back to bat in the top of the 2nd inning, but as we head to the bottom half of the 1st, it's still a 0-0 ball game. Tyler Ahern coming to the mound for the Gatemen when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Bottom of the first inning here from Stony Brook Field. Tyler Ahern, the right-hander that just finished up his freshman season at Florida State, will get the ball for the Gatemen. This season, a 6.75 ERA for him in 2 appearances. This is his first start, though. He's gone 4 innings, given up 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Opponents hitting .333 against him. First batter he faces is Dominic Canzone. Here comes the first pitch from the right-hander. Ahern misses up and away on a fastball, 1-0. Canzone, a left-handed hitter out of Ohio State. Ahern out of the full windup to pitch. Waved on a miss. Good fastball. Blows it by Canzone, 1-1.
Canzone batted out of the 7th spot. First time these two teams met way back on June 23rd. 1 for 3 in that game. The speedy left fielder up to the top of the order here.
1-1, misses up and away. 2-1 now. Canzone pinch hit in a pretty big spot yesterday and doubled and then scored a run after relieving Ike Freeman in the 8th inning. So he scored the only run of the day yesterday for Brewster. 2-1. Fouled back into the screen behind home plate. 2-2 now. Coming into the day, Canzone has been one of the best hitters on this Brewster team. A .333 batting average in 14 games. He's got 16 hits, a double, a triple, a home run, 6 RBIs, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. Ahern takes a deep breath out of the mound, rocks back, kicks high, and fires. 2-2, fouled off to the left side. We'll do it again. Canzone wearing teal and blue and white stirrups over white socks today, with the teal and white uniforms for Brewster. 2-2. Misses low. 3 balls and 2 strikes as it pops out of the glove of Gian Martellini behind home plate. Canzone, the Ohio State Buckeye, had an excellent season this year in the Big Ten. 3-2. Swung on, rocketed under the glove of Zahid Valenzuela at second base and into right field for a leadoff single.
A 2-2 pitch, pretty well placed by Ahern, low inside fastball, but he was ready for it. Canzone ripped it into right field, turned on it well. Now the Brewster Whitecaps have a lead aboard. They strike first hit-wise today.
Ray Alejo now to the plate. He was the leadoff batter yesterday, and he's your prototypical leadoff guy. Plays center field a lot, right field today, but he has a ton of speed. He stole a base yesterday and was 34 for 39 this season at UCF in stolen bases. First pitch to him at the plate is a looping breaking ball in there for a strike on the outside corner. 0-1.
4 of 6 this year as well, with that .292 average, so he's a menace on the base paths. And Brewster, despite all their woes, the one thing they have done well is steal bases. That is a pickoff throw over to first. Canzone back in there safely. They've got the 2nd most stolen bases in the entire Cape League, behind only Chatham. And Chatham does a lot of things well.
Alejo certainly one of the guys that has contributed to that high stolen base number for Brewster. Ahern out of the stretch. The 0-1 is popped up foul on a bunt attempt. Gets over the screen behind home plate, and it's 0-2. Defense today for the Gatemen. Gian Martellini behind home plate. Austin Shenton at third. Ryan Kreidler at short. Zahid Valenzuela at second base. And Lyle Lockhart on at first. In the outfield from left to right, Jeremy Iden, Skylar Hunter, and Isaac Collins. 0-2 the count. Ahern working out of the stretch. Hides his mouth in front of the glove. Now he'll step off. Right-hander from Florida State, making his 3rd appearance of the season with the Gatemen, his first start. Working from straight away on the rubber, comes set chin high, peeks back at first base, nods his head yes to the sign. The pitch popped up, back and foul right over us. Still 0-2. Canzone with decent speed at first base. Really hasn't shown it on the base paths this season, but he does have a steal for Brewster. Another 0-2 from Ahern. Waved on and missed in the dirt. First base is occupied, so it will be a strikeout for Ray Alejo. The first of the day for Tyler Ahern, and as always, it's brought to you by Lang, Exeforest, and Bullard, the official strikeout sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen.
Heck of an at-bat by both parties, but getting the better of it is Tyler Ahern. He kept his pitches down. He's going to have a lot of success if he does that. Like I said, you just got to tip your cap to Canzone on that last at-bat, that hard-hit single. He hit what Ahern was pitching to him.
First pitch to Mike Massey, misses below the knees, 1-0 on a fastball. Massey and Illinois Fighting Illini out of the Big Ten, hitting just a shade under 300 this season for the Brewster Whitecaps at 295, but he's probably been the best hitter, all things considered, for this Whitecaps lineup. 1-0 to him, misses down and away, 2-0 now.
You can even see on first base, and JD, you mentioned how Canzone hadn't been the biggest base-stealing threat this year. He hasn't, just one stolen base. But his base running, even while he's on first base, is taking attention away from Lyle Lockhart and Tyler Ahern. He's not too flashy or dancy out there, but he's just enough working into the head of the pitcher.
The 2-0 from the right-hander, Tyler Ahern, is a big breaking ball, waved on and missed by Massey. It's a really nice pitch from the right-hander, and it's 2-1 now. Massey this season at Illinois, a .326 average, was all Big Ten second team as the second baseman. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch home is swung on and looped into left field. Jeremy Iden starts in, now floats over toward the foul line and makes the catch easily. 2 gone. Massey tried to go the other way on an outside fastball, but barely flared it out to left field. Now there's 2 gone and a runner on at first for Jesse Franklin. Franklin, the Michigan Wolverine, played outfield this season with Michigan. One of 2 Wolverines in the starting lineup, along with catcher Joe Donovan today. Was an outfield mate with former Gateman Dominic Clemente this season. Runner on at first, but Ahern's focused on the batter at hand. The first pitch gets away in the dirt off the glove of Martellini. Canzone moves up to second on what will be scored a wild pitch. Now there's a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Franklin has also been productive this season for the Brewster Whitecaps, coming into today hitting .316 in the 2018 season. The on-base percentage all the way up at .395 for the Michigan Wolverine. Ball and no strikes. Pitch off the glove of Martellini. It gets away from him, and now moving up to third is Dominic Canzone. That one, I would imagine, would be scored a pass ball, just clipped off the glove of Gian Martellini behind home plate. And now 90 feet away from a 1-0 lead is Dominic Canzone for Brewster.
That was chunky enough contact to where you think Martellini should have been able to corral that, and I think you're right, JD. That would have been scored a pass ball. But in a broader look at this could be ugly here for the Gatemen. A lot of free passes being given up just on the base paths right now.
2-0 from Ahern is swung on and rocketed into the right center field gap over the head of Skylar Hunter as it rolls to the wall. Canzone scores from third base. Up to second with a stand-up double is Jesse Franklin, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps here in the first inning.
Fastball that Franklin hit it where it was pitched, got that one middle of the plate inside. And the mistake ended up not having too much of impact, as Canzone probably would have scored from first on that one. That was an absolute missile. It rolled into the wall here at Stony Brook Park. Brewster out in front here. Let's see how Wareham responds in the top half of the inning.
1-0 Whitecaps now with a runner on at second and Jesse Franklin after the RBI double. Cameron Eden to the plate now with a runner in scoring position. Shortstop out of Cal. Came in as a defensive replacement yesterday for Brewster, but did not get the start. Ahern comes set, checks back at second with Jesse Franklin. A short lead for Franklin, a pitch home. Breaking ball on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Eden coming into the day hitting .255 on the season in 19 games. 14 hits, a double, and 2 home runs for him. 0-1 the count. Small leg kick in the pitch from Tyler Ahern. It's skied foul down the first base side. Lyle Lockhart gives it a chase, but it'll cling off the Gatemen dugout down the first base line, and it's now quickly 0-2. One to nothing Brewster here in the bottom of the first, trying to tack on to that lead. Jesse Franklin with the RBI double just in at bat ago, so he stands at second base. 0-2 the count here to Cam Eden. Shortstop out of Cal against Tyler Ahern. Ahern comes set, chin high, looks in for the sign, the 0-2 pitch. Check swing, did he go? He did not, according to the first base umpire, John Reardon. Pitch missed low in the dirt, good stop by Martellini, 1-2. Eden barely able to hang up. So he takes a deep breath and steps right back into the right-handed batter's box. Slightly open stance for the middle infielder from California. 1-2 the count. Ahern checks back at second. Franklin's off with the pitch. The pitch home. Checked his swing. Appeal again. That time he did go around. Jesse Franklin had third base stolen, but striking out is Cameron Eden. Strikeout number 2 on the day. Brought to you by Lang, XFRs, and Bullard for Tyler Ahern. That'll do it for the first, but the Brewster Whitecaps take a 1-0 lead on a Jesse Franklin RBI double in the bottom of the first inning. We're headed to the top of the second. Gatemen looking to storm back and put on another run of their, or put on the first run of their own. We'll be right back on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Top of the second inning from Stony Brook Field in beautiful Brewster, Massachusetts. It's a 1-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps over the Wareham Gatemen. Lyle Lockhart back into the batter's box here for Wareham. He was at bat when Zahid Valenzuela was caught stealing 2-6 back in the first inning, and so he will restart his at bat, get a second chance at life here against the left-hander out of San Diego, Chris Murphy. Lockhart, as we mentioned, the last inning, coming into this game, hitting .222 on the season. Murphy, the left-hander out of San Diego, rocks back, kicks high, and fires. First pitch in there for a strike on the inside corner, a fastball, quickly 0-1. Murphy brings the brown glove in front of his face, shakes his head yes to 2 signs, and now fouls it off back and right.
Now at the plate wearing number 18, Lyle Lockhart.
0-2 the count here to Lyle Lockhart. Gian Martellini waits on deck. One to nothing Brewster here in the top of the second inning from Stony Brook. The 0-2 pitch from the lefty Murphy is swung on tap to the first base side. First baseman Jesse Franklin picks it up on a couple of hops and tags the bag himself for out number 1 on the 3 unassisted putout. 1 up, 1 down for the Gatemen in the second. Gian Martellini, the catcher out of Boston College, strides in now. Martellini, .250 on the season, and this is just his 6th game with the Gatemen. 3 hits, a double, and a home run, a monster shot at Cotuit early last week. First pitch from Murphy in the dirt on a fastball, 1-0.
Batting in the 5-hole today in the absence of Pavin Parks, the DH third baseman getting a day off. Well, DH third baseman and pitcher, as we saw in Hyannis. Cade Cavalli, another two-way guy, along with Lyle Lockhart.
1-0, misses low, 2-0 now.
But Martellini in his limited time, still that just the .250 average, but like you said, the home run is encouraging as he gets more starts behind the plate. Him, Drew Millis, and Luke Roscom sharing time behind the plate, but they all find themselves in the DH spot every once in a while.
2 balls and no strikes. The pitch shown from Murphy, fouled off into the netting behind home plate, 2-1. Martellini struggled a bit this season at Boston College and as a junior. Hit just .230 But that was after a year when he hit .302 as a sophomore and led the Eagles in slugging percentage, so he might have had a down year this season, but we certainly know he can hit with the best of them coming out of that ACC. 2-1, up and away. Fastball came up near the eyeballs of Gian Martellini. 3-1 now. Slightly open stance for Martellini, an Under Armour black shin guard on his left leg. 3-1 pitch, outside and high as well. It's a one-out walk to Gian Martellini. Second base runner of the day for the Gatemen, both coming way of base on balls. So Martellini on at first base, and here comes Cade Cavalli, the right-handed hitter out of Oklahoma.
Here's Cade Cavallini.
Cavalli has been mostly a pitcher this season with the Gatemen. He has had one at-bat and a pinch hit appearance. He went 0 for 1 in that 1AB. Murphy out of the stretch, his first pitch. Misses up over the belt for a ball, 1-0. Cavalli this season at Oklahoma hit .208 in 55 games with 50 starts. 38 hits, 7 doubles, 6 home runs, 28 RBIs. 1-0 waved on and missed, 1-1. In that one plate appearance for Cavalli, it was his strikeout. The 1-1. Waved on and missed again. Good breaking ball down and out of the zone, 1-2. The reason I bring up that it was a strikeout is because this season at Oklahoma was a bit of a season to forget for Cavalli as a freshman. Struck out 90 times out of the Big 12. Led the country in strikeouts. 1-2 up and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Doesn't look horribly out of sorts up there, though. I mean, if you get enough at-bats to even strike out 90 times, that's a positive in and of itself. Clearly knows what he's doing up there, so this two-way appearance, not too much of a surprise.
2-2, the pitch from Murphy from the belt. Waved on and missed. Another strikeout for Cade Cavalli, the first of the day for the left-hander Chris Murphy, and there are 2 down with a runner on at first for Ryan Kreidler. Very similar situation to what we saw in the first inning for the Gatemen. A ground out in the first at-bat, a walk in the second, and then another out in the third. Last time, Sahid Valenzuela in this situation was caught stealing. Don't think Gian Martellini will be off on any pitches anytime soon, but we shall see. First pitch to Ryan Kreidler misses outside to the UCLA Bruin, 1-0. Kreidler on the year, hitting .279 in 13 games. 12 hits, 2 doubles, a home run. That came last night. A ball and no strikes, the pitch. Up and inside, 2-0 now. Kreidler has been much better on the Cape than he was this season at UCLA. Hit just .233 for the Bruins. 35 hits, 7 doubles, 3 home runs. And it was really just a season where there was a lot of shifting. He was every day, but there was a lot of up and down moments for Kreidler. Here comes the 2-0. Swung on and popped up high and shallow into right center field. Alejo trots in and makes the play on the run for out number 3. So once again, the Gatemen strand a a one-out walk at first base. We're headed to the bottom of the second inning. Brewster trying to add to its 1-0 lead when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. 6, 7, 8 due up for the Brewster Whitecaps here from Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts. A 1-0 lead for the Whitecaps here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Hunter Bishop, Joe Donovan, and Brandon Martirano due up for Brewster. Didn't see Bishop yesterday. The left-handed hitting center fielder out of Arizona State got the day off yesterday, but has been one of the everyday guys this season for Brewster. Tyler Ahern rocks back, kicks, and fires. His first pitch misses down and away to Bishop, 1-0. Bishop on the season hitting .209 in 21 games. 14 hits, a double, and 2 home runs for him. Does have some pop. 1-0 to him. His hit on the ground toward the right side of the infield. Zahid Valenzuela on 2 ups. His sidearm throw in time to Lyle Lockhart at first base. 1 gone.
That average a little deceptive for the now retired Hunter Bishop. .209. That doesn't tell you the full story. After registering just 5 hits in his first 14 Cape League games, he's now riding a 7-game hit streak. 3 of those multi-hit affairs. He's bumped his batting average up almost 100 points over that span.
Bishop hit well this season at Arizona State. Hit .250 as a sophomore, but that's pretty good considering you're coming out of the Pac-12. First pitch to Joe Donovan, the catcher out of Michigan. Misses down and in. Breaking ball that really didn't get all the way to the plate before it broke, 1-0. Donovan, another guy that we did not see in the starting lineup yesterday for Brewster. Ahern takes a deep breath. The 1-0 out of the full windup is swung on, roped over the glove of Zahid Valenzuela into right field for a 1-out single. Well hit line drive off the bat of Joe Donovan, and Brewster's in business here with 1 gone in the second.
Last single by the Brewster Whitecaps, Dominic Canzone. He was given a couple free passes, one over to second, one over to third on the pass ball on the wild pitch. So we'll see if, despite Tyler Ahern, he's been firm with his fastball. It's been pretty well located for the most part. And even with the misses, he's been missing down. But it becomes a little more worrisome with guys on base. We'll see if Martellini can hold things up a little better back there.
It's now Brandon Martirano, the catcher, turned DH tonight out of UNC. First pitch to him is a breaking ball. Inside corner, 0-1. Martirano got the start at catcher yesterday for the Brewster Whitecaps. Fouled off into the screen down the first base side, 0-2 now. Martirano bounced back from, we won't say disastrous, but a pretty tough freshman year. Hit just .068 last season for UNC. Bumped that average all the way up to .246 this season as a sophomore down in Chapel Hill. The 0-2 from Ahern in the dirt. Joe Donovan thought about taking off, but trots back. Ball and 2 strikes on a good stop from Gian Martellini. Martirano started 52 games for the Tar Heels this year, 11 doubles, 2 triples, and 9 home runs. He's got good pop, and he's 6'2", a pretty big for the second out of the inning.
A beautiful day for baseball here at Stony Brook, but the wind whipping pretty viciously from right to left. A pretty big flag, American flag, out there in right center field, completely horizontal. And we don't feel it that much down here, but we've talked about it kind of on and off, that for outfielders, the jet streams and all the shenanigans wind-wise going up 50, 60 feet up in the air can really make things pretty difficult for outfielders, especially for Collins as he's battling the sun out there in right field.
Christian Malfetta into the batter's box now. First pitch to him. Breaking ball misses down and away, 1-0. And it even becomes more difficult because Collins is not a natural outfielder. We keep mentioning it, but the way he has played that right field spot has been very impressive. Ball and no strikes. Chin high set the pitch. Misses outside. Check swing by Christian Malfetta. Appeal down to the first base umpire. He did not go around, says John Reardon. Gian Martellini also tried to backpick Joe Donovan at first. That was unsuccessful as well. So 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 to beat. 2-1 from Ahern. Breaking the ball up and in. Malfetta had to turn out of the way. 3 balls and a strike now. And it's really just been a tough year all around for Malfetta, especially in the spring. Hit just 188 with Stanford, who at one time was ranked as the second best team in all of college baseball. On base percentage was great though, .317, although he did play just 35 games. 3 balls and a strike, runner on at first with 2 outs. Spin and a throw over to first, but back into the pillow headlong is Joe Donovan. Donovan at first, 2 outs here in the second, with Christian Malfetta at the plate. 3-1 from Ahern. Down and away, a walk, 5 pitches to Christian Malfetta. Moving up to second, Joe Donovan. And now runners at first and second for the top of the order, and Dominic Canzone.
Here we go, folks. Top of the batting order for your Brewster Whitecaps. Wearing number 14, the left fielder from the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Canzone already 1 for 1 today. Singled and scored a run back in the first inning against Tyler Ahern. Was doubled in by Jesse Franklin, the cleanup hitter today for Brewster. First time he'll bat with runners on. 1 runner in scoring position at second base in Joe Donovan. Short, tall stance here for Canzone. Short in terms of the width between his feet. Calls for time. Home plate umpire Rick Emerson obliges. Canzone coming off a .323 season at Ohio State, all Big Ten second team as a sophomore for the Buckeyes. First pitch to him this time around for Ahern. Fastball misses down and in. A ball and no strikes to the outfielder out of Sagamore Hills, Ohio, and Walsh Jesuit High School. Pigeon toes his right foot in toward his left. The 1-0 from Ahern. Popped up foul. Back and left over the screen. A ball and a strike now to the Ohio State Buckeye. Short leads for both Joe Donovan at first and Joe Donovan at second and Christian Malfetta at first. Wind whipping out toward left field now. The 1-1 from Ahern. Waved on a miss. Good breaking ball. Really fooled a good hitter in Canzone. A pretty ugly swing as he was out in front of the off-speed pitch. 1-2.
Firm fastball, but not overpowering from Ahern. Good setup pitch used there. Now 1 strike away from getting out of the inning.
Ahern comes set, chin high. Nods his head yes once. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off back and left. Canzone had to chase it out of the zone, but it's still 1-2 now. Runners at first and second, 2 outs, 1-2 the count. In the bottom of the second inning, Brewster trying to add to a 1-0 lead here from Stony Brook Field. Ahern again comes set from the first base side of the rubber. Shakes his head, yes, the 1-2 pitch. Just misses outside. Good changeup out of the hand of Ahern. It's 2-2.
Yeah, heck of a pitch. Not much more you can say about that. Martellini set up there. He got exactly the pitch he wanted. Almost fooled him. Canzone got fooled once. He's been a little more disciplined up there now, but still with 2 strikes, look for him to protect.
2-2, a look back at second. The pitch home. Swung on and roped into left field. It'll fall in front of Jeremy Idens for a base hit. Joe Donovan being pinwheeled around third. He will score from second. An RBI single for Dominic Canzone, and a 2-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps in the second inning.
Try to challenge him again on that outside corner, but Canzone was ready for it. Hit it right back to where it was pitched. You saw Idens hesitate on that one as a line drive right to him. I think he did make the smart play there and try to make him pay on the throw, but the throw was about 10 feet off to the left, to his left, Martellini's right. So the Gatemen in some early trouble here.
Christian Malfetta moves up to second base, so runners at first and second for Ray Alejo, who was 0 for 1 today with a strikeout in the first inning. The UCF Knight, an open stance with the left foot well toward the third base dugout. First pitch from Ahern to Alejo this time around, fouled off the glove of Gian Martellini, 0-1. Alejo this season in his first year at UCF, a .299 average in 55 starts, 67 hits, 14 doubles, 3 triples and a home run. Transfer from Ole Miss, sat out last season after his freshman year with the Rebels. 0-1 the count to him here. Ahern looks back at second. A chin-high set for the right-hander out of FSU. The 0-1 pitch in the dirt. A ball and a strike now. 2 hits in the inning for the Brewster Whitecaps to go along with a walk. The RBI single off the bat of Dominic Canzone, producing the lone run of this inning as they lead it 2-0 in the second. 1-1 the count as the wind drifts out to left center field. The 1-1 from Ahern. Apparently the batter called time. Ray Alejo. It looked like a good pitch from Ahern and would have been in there for a strike, but Alejo called time, and Rick Emerson granted it to him. So still just a ball and a strike now. Ahern trying to settle in here. Gave up 2 hits in the first. He's got 2 hits against him here in the second. Also a walk here in this second frame. 1-1 pitch from Ahern. Breaking ball in there for a called strike on the outer half at the knees. 1-2.
Really nice pitch, didn't take too much off it. Looked just enough like a fastball, dropped in there for strike 2. And now again, one more chance to be 1 strike away from getting out of this inning.
Short leads for runners at first and second. Ray Alejo in the batter's box as Tyler Ahern comes set. Checks back at second base, and Christian Malfetta, the 1-2 pitch. Down and away on a breaking ball, looked like the slider, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Christian Malfetta at second, with Dominic Canzone on at first. The 2-2 pitch misses outside and low. 3-2 now.
You got a feel for Ahern here. Everything he gives on the edges of the strike zone seemed to be either in the case of Dominic Canzone, who took a good fastball on the outside corner into left field, either hit hard or called strikes, and anything else. Brewster has done a good job to put in play and get hard contact on.
3-2, the full count offering from Ahern, hit back up the middle toward Ryan Kreidler. Gloves it, moving to his left, his throw to Lyle Lockhart at first base in time for out number 3. So Brewster leaves 2 on, but not before they get another run across. An RBI single from Dominic Canzone to plate Joe Donovan. It's a 2-0 Brewster lead as we head to the top of the third here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Chris Murphy back to the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps in the top of the third inning. He has looked nearly unhittable, has faced 1 over the minimum through his first 2 innings. 8-9-1 due up for the Gatemen in this inning. Isaac Collins, Skylar Hunter, and Jeremy Idens for Wareham.
Wearing number 10 from Creighton, right
Collins,
fielder.
the switch hitter out of Creighton, playing right field today, but is a natural middle infielder. He'll lead it off from the right side against the left-hander Murphy. Had a hit yesterday against the Brewster Whitecaps out of the leadoff spot, went 1 for 4. The first pitch to Collins this time around for today's first at-bat for him is in there for a strike, 0-1. After the 1 for 4 performance yesterday, just a shade under 300 at 295. 0-1 in there for a strike on the outside corner. Collins not happy that he didn't take a hack at it. It's quickly 0-2. Murphy working quickly here, already ready to go back on the mound. Toys with the glove in front of his face. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from the left-hander. It misses inside as Collins had to contort his body out of the way of the ball's path. 0-2 still, or excuse me, 1-2 now. Switch hitter batting right out of Creighton in the Big East. Slightly open stance. Here comes the 1-2 from Murphy. Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Since being inserted into the starting lineup as the starting right fielder a few weeks ago at Hyannis, Collins has been on an absolute tear at the plate. 2-2 is hit right back to the shortstop. Couple of steps over for Cameron Eden, and his throw onto first. In time, one gone. So Isaac Collins bounces out to the shortstop, Cameron Eden. One out in the third for Skylar Hunter.
One of the Boilermakers, Skylar Hunter.
Skylar Hunter got the start yesterday. He's also been much better of late. 1 for 2 yesterday with a single and a walk in his last 2 plate appearances. Switch hitter batting right, first pitch to him, in there for a strike at the knees, 0-1 on the inside corner. On the season, Hunter has struggled, but as we mentioned, been much better of late. 0-1 outside, 1-1. Average steadily creeping back toward the Mendoza line. At one point, it was in the low 100s, up to 187 now on the season. 1-1 from the left-hander Murphy, waved on a miss. Good changeup that just dove straight south out of the zone. A ball and 2 strikes. Hunter with white tape on both his wrists. No batting gloves for the Purdue Boilermaker. 1-2 is fought off foul down the right field side. We'll do it again at a ball and 2 strikes. Hunter had been hitting toward the top of the lineup at the early part of the season, but since struggling and Jeremy Iden's coming, he has been in the bottom. 1-2 waved on and missed. Breaking ball in the outside corner. Chris Murphy sets down Skylar Hunter, his second strikeout of the day. 2 up, 2 down for the Gatemen in the third. Top of the order for the Gatemen, Jeremy Idens, the left fielder out of UCLA, strides in. He's 0 for 1 today, grounded out to the second baseman Mike Massey back in the first inning. First pitch to Idens here, waved on and tipped into the glove of Joe Donovan. 0-1. Idens the day off yesterday, a rare day off for the UCLA outfielder, but back in the lineup today in his normal leadoff spot. 0-1 breaking ball hung up there and hit down the left field line and down for a base hit. Idens takes a big look around first, but will head back there with a 2-out single. Left fielder Dominic Canzone able to corral it before Idens could think about 2. So no 2 outs, but a runner on at first for Sahid Valenzuela. Breaking ball just left up there from the left-hander Chris Murphy. First one we've really seen left up in the zone. That's also the first hit of the day for the Gatemen and their third base runner. So 2 outs here in the top of the third inning. Idens with a short lead at first, being held on by Jesse Franklin. First pitch to Sahid Valenzuela, comes in and gets him in the thigh. He was batting from the right side, and it came in and hit him on the inner right thigh, so he has a slightly open stance that left a path for it to hit him right in the leg. He looks like he's all right as he tries to walk it off as he heads down toward first base, but he is limping a bit. So now they're going to call time. Don Snedden will come out to take a look at him. Says not a guy you want to see removed from the game if you're the Gatemen, if you can avoid it. Valenzuela not only a key part of the middle infield, but also one of the best batters on this Gatemen team. Gets on base at a great rate. Also hits well for average. Now the Gatemen training staff out, but it looks like Valenzuela will wave them off and stay in this game. Puts the oven mitt on his right hand, or now his left, I should say. As he always does when he runs the bases. Wants to make sure he can slide head first without breaking any fingers if he needs to. So runners at first and second, 2 outs now for Austin Shenton. Shenton's 0 for 1 today. Chris Murphy looks back at second. His first pitch to the left-hander from FIU. Fouled off, 0-1. Shenton flied out to shallow right field against Chris Murphy to Ray Alejo in the first inning. coming into this game hitting .405 on the season, tops in the league. Murphy working from the third base side, the 0-1. Sprayed foul down the left field side, 0-2. Shenton, if you could call it a slump, has hit a bit of a snag over the last 2 days. Just 2 for 7 in his last 2 games. 2 for 10 if you're dated all the way back to the loss against Falmouth. No balls and 2 strikes. A belt high set from Murphy. Here's the pitch home. 0-2 misses up. Joe Donovan pops up, looks at a snap throw, but pulls it back. And I think the fact that Shenton has hit a slight bit of a snag over the last 3 games proves just how well he was hitting in the early part of the season, that he's still over 400. Runners at first and second, 2 outs in the top of the third. 1-2 pitch to Shenton. Breaking ball misses low, 2-2. We knew that he was going to be good coming into the season, hit well over 300 this year in his first year of Division I baseball at Florida International. We just didn't know he was going to be this good, that he would be leading the league in average this far into the season. Murphy looks back at second, 2-2 home, waved on and missed. Fastball blown by Austin Shenton on the outer half. The Gatemen strand 2 in the third inning. 2-0 Brewster as we head to the home half of the third inning. We'll have the Brewster Whitecaps coming to bat once more when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
And it's time for the first Cape League update of the night. We already have one game completed as the Chatham Anglers won 1-0 over the Falmouth Commodores. They're playing a doubleheader, so that first one is already completed. In a 7-inning game, Adam Fogel had an RBI double in the first, and that was the only run scored on the day. Over in Yarmouth Dennis, the Red Sox trail the Mariners 2-1 in the bottom of the third. Over in Cotuit, the Kettleers lead the Orleans Firebirds 4-3. And as for the second game of the doubleheader, the Chatham Anglers are already out 5-0 in the top of the second in that one. And those are the couple games in progress right now. That's our Cape League update. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Ian. As always, great job. Our beat writer / host for the day, jack of all trades, Ian Becerra. Tyler Ahern back to the mound for the Gatemen. He's given up a run in each of the first 2 innings here for Wareham. A 2-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps here from beautiful Stony Brook Field. Right-hander from Florida State has just left a couple of pitches up, lost a couple of batters. He's gotten guys to 2 strikes on a couple of different occasions, but has just left pitches in the strike zone that guys can easily handle. Think back to the second inning. Not a run had come in to score. Dominic Canzone at the plate, 2 strikes against him, 2 outs, and he just let the fastball out over the heart of the plate. Canzone deposited it the other way into left field, drove in Joe Donovan, and doubled the Brewster lead to where it stands now 2-0. Things don't get easier here for Tyler Ahern as Mike Massey out of Illinois stands in. First pitch to the big left-hander is swung on and pumped high and deep into center field. Skylar Hunter racing back and just in front of the warning track, leaps up and makes the catch for the first out. Massey got a pitch he liked on the first pitch of the at-bat from Tyler Ahern, but it hung up just enough for Skylar Hunter to make the play. 1 gone in the third for Brewster. Jesse Franklin, the first baseman for Michigan, strides in now. He's 1 for 1 today, an RBI double in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. Doubled into the right center field gap between Isaac Collins and Skylar Hunter. He'll try to do something similar here. First pitch from Ahern to Franklin is swung on, tap foul. Nice snag by Mike Mobbs. Sitting in front of the Gatemen dugout. Don Snedden got out of the way, but Mobbs nabbed it with a bare left hand. It's been a couple of years since he's played baseball, but he's still got the moves over there. 0-1 the count to Franklin. The pitch from the right-hander Ahern in there for a strike. 0-1 fastball on the outside corner. 0-2. Franklin, the big, bulky lefty out of Michigan. Grew up in Seattle, Washington. 0-2, Ahern out of the stretch. The pitch misses low. 1-2 now. Franklin this season at Michigan hit .327 and was a collegiate baseball newspaper freshman All-American, as well as an All-Big Ten freshman team member. Hit 11 doubles, a triple, and 10 home runs. Good pop for the 6'2", 205-pounder. 1-2 misses low. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Franklin now. So Ahern got ahead 0-2 and now has missed down and away with 2 straight pitches. Franklin having a quick conversation with the home plate umpire, Rick Emerson, who has called for time. Steps back in now, waves a tan bat over the plate. The 2-2 pitch from the right-hander Ahern misses low again, 3-2. If you're Tyler Ahern, you're missing in the right spot if you are going to miss. You're missing low to a good hitter in Jesse Franklin, but you've got to give him at least something near the strike zone here with a full count and 1 out in the inning. Closed off stance for Franklin. Power loaded to his back left foot. The 3-2 from Ahern is swung on, hit down the first base side, but foul. Lyle Lockhart gloved it, but didn't matter anyways as the ball had already run outside of the boundary. Still a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning with Tyler Ahern on the mound and Jesse Franklin, the first baseman and outfielder out of Michigan, in the batter's box. 3-2 again. Ahern straddles both sides of the rubber, rocks back, kicks high, and the 3-2 pitch in there. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. A good breaking ball right at the knees. 3rd strikeout of the day for the right-hander Ahern. Brought to you by Lang, XFRs, and Bullard, and there's 2 gone here in the 3rd inning.
Wearing number 9 for your Brewster Whitecaps out of Cal, one of the Golden Bears, shortstop, Cameron Eden.
So 2 gone for Cameron Eden and nobody on in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Eden is 0 for 1 today. He was also a strikeout victim back in the 1st inning against Tyler Ahern. First pitch from righty to righty, fouled off into the screen behind home plate. 0-1. Eden, the Cal Golden Bear, with the Florida State Seminole Ahern on the mound. Teal, navy blue, and white stirrups over white socks for Eden. Open stance, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball outside, 1-1. Infield and outfield both at normal depth for Eden. Hasn't shown a tendency either way this season as he's struggled a little bit hitting just .255, but it is the Cape League, so that number is not too terrible. 1-1, breaking ball up and in. Eden bent out of the way, 2 balls and a strike. Eden 6'1", 181 out of Yuba City, California, and Yuba City High School. Ahern rocks back as 2-1 home, is swung on and popped up into fairly shallow center field. Skylar Hunter a couple of steps back and a couple of steps to his right, camps out underneath it, and makes the play for out number 3. So after giving up runs in each of the 1st and 2nd innings, Tyler Ahern looks much better on the mound in the 3rd. He gets the Whitecaps to go 1-2-3 in the home half. We're headed to the top of the 4th. Enrique DeMore back with me when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Top of the fourth inning from Stony Brook Field here in Brewster. A 2-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps over the Wareham Gatemen. Gatemen back to the bats. Lyle Lockhart Jr. will lead it off for Wareham in the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Ahern in the third. His best inning on the mound by far. And now Chris Murphy will try to get back to it. Struggling a little tiny bit in the third inning. Allowed 2 base runners for the first time today. First pitch from the left-hander out of San Diego to Lockhart, batting right. In there for a strike at the knees. Breaking ball that dipped into the zone, right at the belt, right down to the knees. Good pitch. It's 0-1. Already the 0-1 delivery. Popped up, foul down the right field side. Gets out of play over the dugout. No balls and 2 strikes here to Lyle Lockhart. Lockhart 0 for 1 today, grounded out 3 unassisted to the first baseman Jesse Franklin back in the second inning. 0-2 from the left-hander Murphy. Swung on and roped into left field and in front of the left fielder for a base hit. Dominic Canzone took a step in but then made the smart play as he trailed back into the outfield. A single for Lyle Lockhart, just the second hit of the day for the Gatemen here in the fourth.
Wearing number 9 for the Gatemen from Boston College. Here's the catcher, Glenn Martellini.
So runner on at first, nobody out for Gian Martellini. Walk back in his first plate appearance in the second inning. Open stance for Martellini. The first pitch from Chris Murphy in there for a strike, 0-1. Martellini out of Boston College, making his 6th appearance of the season for the Gatemen. Was on the preseason roster, was released, but was then re-signed after Michael Amditis left for summer school. 0-1. Inside, had to turn out of the way, 1-1 now. Left-hander Murphy, not a terribly big guy. Just about 6 foot tall. 1-1 pitch from him. Fouled off into the screen behind home plate, 1-2. Lockhart being held on at first by Jesse Franklin, the 2 first basemen in today's game. Cade Cavalli, the DH in the batters, or excuse me, in the on-deck circle, I should say, with Gian Martellini, the catcher out of Boston College, in the batter's box. A ball and 2 strikes the count against him. Murphy comes set at the belt. Looks over at first base and stares down Lyle Lockhart. Now comes home. 1-2, fouled off into the screen once again. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
Murphy's had that power stuff all year. The fastball in the mid-low 90s, but very firm, and he's locating it very well today. Gatemen haven't quite figured him out just yet, but he's run into trouble in almost all of his appearances, so some would say it's just a matter of time before the Gatemen bats get going here.
1-2 again fouled off. Martellini doing a good job of fighting back against Chris Murphy, who through the first 2 innings had really baffled this Gatemen lineup. Jeremy Idens figured him out a little bit in the third, and then Lyle Lockhart did the same here in the fourth. Martellini's been on base 1 time today, with a walk in the second inning, trying to do it again here. 1-2 from the left-hander Murphy in the dirt. Good stop by Joe Donovan. Lockhart took a couple of steps toward toward second, but had to retreat back to the first base bag. Even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes from Chris Murphy to Gian Martellini. Eden comes set, belt high. Looks back at first. Lyle Lockhart toying with him there. The 2-2 pitch is swung on, popped up into foul territory down the right field side. The first baseman Jesse Franklin gives it chase, but it'll land again on top of the Gatemen dugout. 2-2.
Gian Martellini putting together a heck of an at-bat here. See if he can try to get a hold of something here. The Gatemen have 1 on with nobody out in the top of the third. They trail the Whitecaps 2-0. That's just kind of been the theme between these 2 teams. Despite the stark difference in run differential and record, the Whitecaps have played the Gatemen closer than, consistently speaking, probably any other team on the Cape this year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Left-hander comes set, belt high once again. Now he'll step off as Martellini was bouncing around at first base a little bit. The 2-2 from the left-hander Murphy. In the dirt, check swing. Did he go? Appealed down to the first base umpire. He did. A strikeout for Gian Martellini. The first of the day for him, the fourth of the day for Chris Murphy. 1 on, 1 out for Cade Cavalli.
Tough one there, but Martellini put together a very good at-bat, and he drove up the pitch count on Murphy. Both pitchers starting to rack it up here. I imagine both of them will be gone by the fourth inning, even though Murphy has only given up 1 with 2 hits and no earned runs so far. And with 4 strikeouts, he's looking pretty good so far, but Martellini doing a good job of doing whatever he can to be productive at the plate.
First pitch to Cade Cavalli, big rip and a miss at a fastball on the outside corner. 0-1 to the Oklahoma Sooner, who is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout in the second inning. Short lead for Lyle Lockhart being held on there by Jesse Franklin. The 0-1 pitch from the left-hander. Waved on and missed again. Quickly 0-2 to Cavalli. Big athletic right-handed batter out of Oklahoma. Is set to be one of the rotation guys next season for the Sooners, and Oklahoma hopes possibly the Friday night starter as a sophomore. 0-2. Waved on and missed, but actually it's tipped into the glove of Joe Donovan. Upset with himself that he couldn't quite hold on to the ball. Says, my bad, to Chris Murphy on the mound, but Cavalli stays alive, 0-2 still.
Honestly, I'm impressed that as many guys as hold on to that ball as they do, as that tip can create just enough of a misdirection to where, you know, end up with, I'm surprised you don't end up with more broken fingers and thumbs.
Murphy again looks at first, now brings his glance home. The 0-2 pitch in there, called strike 3 to Cade Cavalli. Back-to-back strikeouts for the for the left-hander Chris Murphy. 5 strikeouts on the day for him. The University of San Diego Torreo, and there's 2 gone with a runner on at first for Ryan Kreidler.
And we knew what this was going to get despite the wonky ERA and whip out of Chris Murphy. His 18 strikeouts in 10 innings coming in today. One of the better ratios that we've seen on the Cape League all year. And now through almost 14 innings, he's bumped that up to 23 strikeouts.
First pitch to Ryan Kreidler in there for a strike at the knees on the inside corner, 0-1.
Lyle Lockhart dancing out there at first base, trying to get in the head of Murphy. Give his Gateman anything he can, as Wareham tries to manufacture some runs here in the top of the fourth.
No balls and a strike to Kreidler. Short lead for Lyle Lockhart on at first base. Left-hander Murphy comes home. A 1 outside, 1-1 to the UCLA Bruin, who's 0 for 1 today. Flied out to Ray Alejo in right field back in the second inning. Ball and a strike from the third base side of the rubber. The pitch from Murphy. Waved on and missed. Good breaking ball in the outer half. Had Kreidler out in front, 1-2. Isaac Collins, the switch-hitting right fielder from Creighton, is on deck. He will come to the plate next if Kreidler can find a way on base. Lyle Lockhart at first, 2 outs. Top of the fourth inning. Gatemen down 2-0. The 1-2 to Kreidler. Misses below the knees. Joe Donovan held that frame for a long while. Really thought he was going to get the call from the home plate umpire tonight, Rick Emerson. And off on the pitch was Lyle Lockhart. He moves up to second base. So a stolen base for Lockhart. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Run around at second base. Kreidler waves a tan bat over the plate. UCLA blue batting gloves on his hands. 2-2 for Murphy. Swung on and popped up right side, but foul. Will get out of play down the right field line and over on top of Stony Brook Elementary. So much like Gian Martellini, Ryan Kreidler has stayed alive for a while now with 2 strikes. A gutsy take on 1-2 that nearly saw him strike out, and now fouls off a 2-2 pitch against the left-hander Murphy, who has been dazzling through 4 today. Trying to get out of his 4th full inning of work here. He's got 2 outs against the Gatemen with a runner on at second in Lyle Lockhart. 2-2 from the belt. Misses inside, also low. Good block by Joe Donovan as it skipped into his chest protector. A full count, 3-2 to Kreidler. Full count, 3-2. Runner at second is Lyle Lockhart with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Chris Murphy and Ryan Kreidler doing battle at the pitching mound and the batter's box respectively. Murphy peeks back at second. Lockhart dancing, the 3-2 home. In there, called strike 3. Breaking ball. Kreidler thought it was inside. The home plate umpire, Rick Emerson, did not. 3 straight strikeouts to end the 4th inning for the left-hander Chris Murphy out of San Diego. He's got 6 on the day as the Gatemen leave a runner in scoring position in the 4th. 2-0 Brewster as we head to the home half of the inning here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Gatemen here in the bottom of the 4th inning from Stony Brook Field. 2-0 the lead for the Brewster Whitecaps as Jack Ralston, the right-hander out of UCLA, comes into the game for Wareham. This will be Ralston's 3rd appearance with the Gatemen this season in 2 relief outings thus far. Hasn't given up an earned run. He's gone 2 innings in each outing. Gave up 2 hits against Hyannis on June 26th and 3 hits against the 4 hits and 2 earned runs to go along with 3 strikeouts for the right-hander out of Florida State.
Not too bad a day for Ahern and Ralston. He might be stretched here, as the Gatemen probably not too keen on making the Brewster Whitecaps 5-game winners this year. Not against Wareham anyway, but Ralston does have a little bit of a tough task ahead of him as he's got no run support so far. And the Brewster bats, despite a silent 3rd inning, seem to have settled into a rhythm here. Maybe something about Ralston will change that, just looking at a new arm on the bump. But Ralston, like you said, JD, pretty good through his first 2 appearances. And I imagine this will be his longest of the year. Could see him going into the 6th inning, I could see.
Big right-hander out of UCLA stands 6'6". His first pitch to Hunter Bishop out of Arizona State. Fastball that misses in the dirt. Backhand pick by Martellini, 1-0. Bishop 0 for 1 today, grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. Started that frame with a ground out to Sahid Valenzuela. Ralston strictly out of the stretch. The 1-0 pitch home is fouled off. 1-1. This season at UCLA wasn't a great one for Ralston, but he has bounced back with 2 impressive outings here on the Cape. A 6.44 ERA for Ralston in 19 games with 9 starts. Gave up 14 walks, 18 strikeouts, very much a ground ball guy, but a 1-1 breaking ball is waved on and missed there by Hunter Bishop, 1-2. Way out in front of a good curveball that breaks almost 11-5 rather than 12-6. Ball and 2 strikes, the right-hander to the left-hander. Pitch in the dirt, 2-2. All Pac-12 matchup here. The UCLA Bruin, Jack Ralston on the mound with Arizona State Sun Devil Hunter Bishop in the batter's box. Pigeon-toed right into the left foot for Hunter Bishop. Here comes the 2-2 again, misses in the dirt. He's just overthrowing the fastball, I think, a little bit here. It's 3-2.
Yeah, he's coming out on top of it, and he's missed in the dirt a couple times with the fastball. but if you can locate that more where Cavalli was locating it, I think he'll start to bounce back quick. Because the breaking ball does look good, like you said, JD. You get a couple swing and misses on that.
3-2 pitch in the dirt again. It was the fastball. Once again, skips into the chest protector of Gian Martellini. Hunter Bishop on at first with a leadoff walk with nobody out here in the fourth.
Martellini out there to get a new baseball and talk to his pitcher, and I imagine just about that fastball and about following through. Not trying to throw it too hard, really extending, focusing on looking towards the glove and pitching it through the glove of Martellini behind the dish.
Joe Donovan, the right-handed hitting catcher out of Michigan. Singled and scored a run back in the second inning. One of 4 hits so far today for the Brewster Whitecaps. Small lead for Bishop at first. Ralston comes set at the letters. First pitch again skips into the chest protector of Martellini. 1-0. Actually knocked Martellini's mask off. So came up, hit the chest protector, and then rolled up the chest protector and knocked the chin of his mask. Looks like he's all right, but our home plate umpire, Rick Emerson, does call for time just to make sure. 1-0 the count to Joe Donovan. Michigan Wolverine, one of 2 in the starting lineup, as well as his teammate Jesse Franklin for Brewster. Ralston fiddles with the glove, chest tie, the 1-0 pitch. Inside, 2-0. Donovan hit .250 this season at Michigan as a freshman, 5'11", 175. 2-0, that fastball's in there. Located on the outer half right at the knees, 2-1. And kind of like Tyler Ahern in the third, he missed a couple of times low, and that's the place you want to miss. 2-1, throw over, gets away from Lyle Lockhart, but a quick decision to make sure it didn't get too far away from him. It was a pickoff attempt from Jack Ralston. Bishop back in safely, and luckily he did not move up to second base.
Hunter Bishop, good decision to stay there at first. Like you said, JD, that one skipped over to Lockhart. Usually he's able to corral those, but a bit of a tough hop, bounced off his glove, and actually dribbled decently enough into right field, but Bishop didn't have that good first break that he wanted, so he holds up at first.
2-1, Bishop goes on this pitch. It's low and out of the zone. Throw down, not in time. Hunter Bishop into second base with a stolen base. Now runner in scoring position at second for Joe Donovan. 3-1 the count to him. Still nobody out here in this fourth inning.
Bishop now tied for the team lead with his 7th stolen base of the year. Only Michael Massey with 7. Only difference is Massey hasn't been caught yet. Bishop has been caught 4 times.
3 balls and a strike. Ralston comes set. Looks back at second base. The pitch. Again, fastball misses low. Skips into the chest protector of Gian Martellini. And here comes Jim Lawler.
Lawler going out there to discuss strategy with his pitcher, and you can discuss investment strategy with Joe Crespi from Merrill Lynch, who sponsors this trip to the mound. I imagine it's going to be talking about locating that fastball, because the fastball, it's firm, and his breaking ball does look good, and that's biting the way it needs to. That's landing where it needs to. But the fastball as a setup pitch only works if you can locate it well, and not doing much locating at all right now is Ralston. He has yet to hit the strike zone with one.
Back-to-back walks to start this fourth inning for the right-hander out of UCLA. Hunter Bishop at second, Joe Donovan at first for Brandon Martirano, the DH out of UNC. Big right-handed bat. Wearing his shin protector way high on his leg. I've never quite seen that before. It's up toward his knee. There's a little foot part for it, but that is still protecting his shin as well. Nothing on his left foot.
I think that just might be a comfort thing, honestly.
First pitch from Ralston to Martirano. There's the fastball in the inside corner. Located it well that time, 0-1.
Because like you said, JD, that is definitively the bottom part of a leg guard of some kind. The bottom part of that flaps out to protect the top of your foot as best it can, but he's making that into a shin protector. I guess he just feels more comfortable, more safe with it up there.
0-1 fouled off right toward us into the screen. 0-2 now to Martirano, so a good bounce back at bat so far for Jack Ralston. 2-0 Brewster in the home half of the fourth. They've got runners at first and second, trying to add to that lead here at Stony Brook Field. Martirano, a long pinwheel of the black bat. Ralston's ready to go. The 0-2 breaking ball flips over the head of Martirano, over the head of Martellini, back to the backstop. Both runners move up a base, and now runners at second and third with nobody out. And a 1-2 count against Martirano.
See, that right there is what happens when I try to throw a breaking ball, is I can't get the grip I need to just, spin it off one side of the ball and really pull down on it. You just didn't get enough grip on that one. Happens to the best of us, sailed over his head, but thankfully still in a good hitter's count here. But second and third, no one out. Not a great situation on the base paths.
1-2 to Martirano. Pitch in the dirt, checked his swing, appealed down to the field umpire. He didn't go. 2-2. Martirano, the big catcher, turned DH today, listed as a catcher and an outfielder on the UNC roster. 6'2", 187 out of Marlboro, New Jersey. Even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ralston takes a deep breath. His 2-2 pitch is in the dirt once again. Fastball skipped in front of the plate. Martellini working hard behind the plate in this half inning. It's 3-2. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Runners at second and third. Brandon Martirano in the batter's box. Payoff pitch to him. Fastball hit into the 5.5 hole and into left field, a base hit. First run comes in to score from third. Holding up at third base is Joe Donovan. It's an RBI single for Brandon Martirano and a 3-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps in the fourth.
Whitecaps are doing exactly what they need to do, is hitting the fastball from both Tyler Ahern and Jack Ralston. No cheapos, but nothing too serious either for Brewster. Just a lot of singles. The only extra base hit today, the double from James Franklin, but taking advantage of walks, getting him into scoring position, some aggressive base running. The singles just keep on coming for Brewster. 5 hits on the day for the home team so far.
Christian Malfetta doesn't have a hit yet today, but did reach in his first plate appearance in the second inning. A walk for him. He's got runners at the corners. Still nobody out for Brewster as he leans back in an open stance. Bends back over the home plate and fouls off a bunt attempt. 0-1. Malfetta, the utility man out of Stanford, just finished up his redshirt sophomore year in Palo Alto, out of Laguna Beach, California, and Junipero Serra, Catholic High School. Right-hander Ralston comes set chest high. The 0-1 pitch upstairs. Ball and a strike to Malfetta. Malfetta trying to find his stride here on the Cape. As we mentioned in his last AB, hitting just 125 coming into this game. Short lead at first base here for Martirano. Short at third for Donovan as well. 1-1 up at the eyes. 2-1. Martellini coming out from behind home plate. Flashing some signals to his outfield as well as his infield. Trying to figure out just how they're going to play this at-bat against Malfetta, with Ralston struggling a bit to find the strike zone. Still nobody out here in this fourth inning. Two-1 from the big right-hander. Swung on tap toward the third baseman Shenton on one hop. A big throw over to first, a little high, but Lyle Lockhart pulls it down. Moving up to second on the play, Brandon Martirano. But the Gatemen do get the first out of the inning against Brewster. Now runners at second and third with one out for the top of the order and Dominic Canzone.
Donovan at third held up. Martirano went from first to second, but still a big out. Fires it across 5-3 for those you keeping score at home. Austin Shenton fielded that one nicely on 2 hops. He took his time a little bit. I mean, I would have been appalled if Donovan went home with that one. As with less than 2 outs and a runner on third, probably the worst place to hit it is the corners if you're going to hit it anywhere. Up the middle, you got a few more shots, but...
First pitch to Canzone, hit right back up the middle and into center field, base hit. Donovan scores from third. Martirano is held up there. Another single for Dominic Canzone and another RBI. It's now 4-0, the Brewster lead.
And now runners at the corners, runners at the corners, 1 out, is what I meant to say. We've harped on it a lot, JD, how easy it is for guys to produce with runners at third and less than 2 outs. Not too many ways you can screw up. And the Brewster Whitecaps just keep piling it on here. 4-0, not an insurmountable deficit, but not where Wareham expected to be in just the 4th inning against this Brewster team.
3 singles for Dominic Canzone now today, 2 RBIs for him. And Gian Martellini wants time once again. He's going to come out and have a chat with Jack Ralston on the mound. Still just 1 gone in this 4th inning. And now Jim Lawler is going to make the call to the bullpen. Jack Ralston's stuff just wasn't there today. Struggled to locate the fastball, and when you're a fastball guy like Ralston, the big right-hander, 6'6", 222, that is going to spell trouble for your outing. Brendan White, the right-hander from Siena, coming into the game. We'll have everything you need to know about him when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The right-hander Brendan White out of Siena into the game. This pitching change is brought to you by the Bay Point Club. Onset's 18-hole championship golf course with a driving range open 7 days a week and senior discounts offered every day. We're always welcome to the public, so go. Get to the point. White, the right-hander out of Siena, a second-year Gateman, played a couple of games with Wareham last season. This season has been a bit of a struggle for the right-hander, an 8.43 ERA in 5 games. He's gone 5 1/3 innings, given up 7 hits, walked 6, and struck out just 5. His last outing, though, was pretty successful, a home outing against Bourne. Went an inning, gave up 2 hits, and no runs. Very interesting delivery, to say the least. Bends almost all the way down to the knees as if he's doing a squat, and then comes home with the pitch. The right-hander wearing number 21.
And White out of Siena, 6'1", 175. As Martellini goes out there to give his runners at the corners signs, making sure for the base-stealing happy Brewster Whitecaps, specifically Dominic Canzone over at first base, trying shenanigans over at second. All the infielders are on the same page. But White, he can zip the fastball, but the location has been a struggle for him, like he said. The 6 walks in 5 innings, not where he wants that to be.
First pitch, Canzone fakes towards second base. Alejo shows bunt, but pulls it back. It's in there for a strike anyway, 0-1.
The middle infielders for Wareham, Kreidler and Valenzuela, converging at second base while Lockhart dives towards first. From first towards home plate, my apologies. So focused on getting that runner at second should he drop the bunt.
0-1 from White to Alejo is a breaking ball that misses down and away, 1-1. Both runners on, Brandon Martirano at third base and Dominic Canzone at first. The responsibility of Jack Ralston, who got through just a third of an inning in this outing. 1-1, look over at third on the pickoff attempt, but he pulls it back. Still a ball and a strike from the right-hander Brendan White to the right-handed hitting Ray Alejo out of UCF. Alejo 0 for 2 today, struck out swinging in the first and then grounded out 6-3 to the shortstop Kreidler in the second. 1-1 from the right-hander, gets away from Gian Martellini, back to the backstop, racing home is Martirano from third base, under the tag from Brendan White. Wild pitch out of the hand of Brendan White, and another run scores for Brewster. It's 5-0 in the fourth.
Now run will be charged to Jack Ralston. But I was going to make the point, it just kind of slipped my mind, that I think this is going to be a similar crux of the outing for White, is locating the fastball well. And it's a little bit frustrating because Brewster seems to have been able to hit the fastball extremely well today, like I've alluded to before. But the free passes have gotten the better of Wareham. The Dominic Canzone, when he singled back in the first, obviously he's going to have a fantastic day, but when he singled back in the first, able to get over to third and score. Now free passes coming back to bite the Gatemen on the base paths.
2-1 to Alejo, below the knees, 3 balls and a strike. Canzone also moved up to second on that wild pitch. We've had 1 wild pitch and 1 pass, or excuse me, 2 wild pitches and 1 pass ball today for the Gatemen pitching and catching staff. Bent at the knees, White comes home with a 3-1, misses low, and a 5-pitch walk to Alejo. Runners at first and second for Brewster, already with a 5-0 lead and 3 runs across to score in this fourth inning. Mike Massey, the Fighting Illini ahead of the University of Illinois, second baseman, 0 for 2 today. Flied out to left field back in the first, and then to deep center back in the third. White comes set, the first pitch to Massey. He's flared down the left field side. It'll get foul, bounces in toward the Brewster bullpen.
Gatemen simply must stop the bleeding here, especially against Massey. Critical at bat here at this juncture in the game. Runner in scoring position, 2 on, 1 out. And Massey, one of the more feared hitters, as we talked about, JD, in this Brewster lineup. He can make you pay here and blow this game right out of reach for Wareham with 1 swing of the bat.
Runners at first and second for him, still just 1 out here in the fourth. A 1 from White. Fouled off straight back into the netting behind home plate. Quickly 0-2. Massey, as we mentioned, a fantastic this season this year at Illinois. Palos Park, Illinois native, Brother Rice High School. Was an all-Big Ten second team member this season at second base after hitting .326 and slugging .514. 0-2 from White. Chopped foul toward the Gatemen dugout. Oliver Dunn tries to snag it, but it's out of his hand. Still 0-2 to Massey. Short lead for both Canzone at second and Alejo at first, both with good speed. The 0-2 swung on and pumped high and deep into right field. Isaac Collins is camped up underneath it. Tagging from second is Canzone. The throw in from Collins will be cut off by Ryan Kreidler. Canzone up to third base on the fly out to right field for Mike Massey, who is 0 for 3 today. And now there's 2 gone, but runners still at the corners for Brewster.
And with 2 outs, like you said, JD, that runner on third becomes a little less dangerous. But Cam Eden now, excuse me, not the case. I spat out what the PA announcer gave me. He was off. James Franklin is the batter with an RBI double today. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout along with that RBI double. Or like you said, JD, runners at the corners, 5-0.
Jesse Franklin, 1 for 2, as you mentioned, Enrique. Big double back in the first inning. He gave it a ride to the right center field gap. First pitch to him this time around from White, fouled off into the screen back in left behind home plate, 0-1. Outside of that double, Franklin struck out swinging against Tyler Ahern in the third inning. The only inning that Ahern got through 1-2-3 and without giving up a run. Brendan White crouches at the knees. Comes set, chest high, now will step off after waiting a while, and Jesse Franklin said, all right, you're slowing it down. I'm going to take a timeout at the plate. Still 0-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth inning. The pitch home from White. Called strike at the knees. Good breaking ball that dropped in for a strike, 0-2.
I think the switching up of the tempo is a good part of the counterplay that Wareham needs to employ here, especially on the part of the pitching staff. is, these the Brewster base runners have a lot of liberty right now with a 5-run lead to run rampant on the base paths as they already do. So changing up the tempo should slow that down some.
0-2, Alejo is off, and he is going to be caught in a pickle between first and third. Brendan White will try to throw it back. He's safe. Coming in to score from third is Dominic Canzone. White just looked lost out there. Nonetheless, though, a 6-0 lead for Brewster here in the 4th inning.
Alejo was dead to rights. As soon as you close that gap a certain distance, White waited just a little too long to get the flip over to his first baseman, Lockhart. You get over there a little sooner. Lockhart's able to corral it, and in the time that it would take Alejo, as quick as he is, to stop, start, and change direction, Lockhart with his momentum going forward would have been able to nab him. Tough break for the Gatemen.
0-2 the count now. Alejo off with the pitch. This one is swung on and popped up on the infield to Austin Shenton. It falls into his glove for the final out of the inning, but Brewster breaks it open. A 4-run fourth for the Whitecaps. They lead it 6-0 as we head to the top of the 5th here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Top of the 5th, Chris Murphy back to the mound, now protecting a 6-0 Brewster Whitecaps lead over the Wareham Gatemen. Isaac Collins, the switch hitter out of Creighton, will lead it off.
Isaac Collins.
Collins has been a catalyst at times this season for the Gatemen. Needs to be one here, as Chris Murphy has been nearly unsolvable on the mound. First pitch into him, misses inside. Fastball, 1-0. Collins today 0 for 1, bounced out to the shortstop Cameron Eden back in the 3rd inning. The 1-0 pitch, swung on and popped up into the net behind home plate back and right. A ball and a strike. Creighton Blue Jay, typically a middle infielder, but has become nearly the everyday right fielder for the Gatemen over the last couple of weeks. 1-1 breaking ball just misses outside from Murphy. 2 balls and a strike. Murphy's gone 4 innings, giving up just 2 hits and has yet to allow a run. He's got 6 strikeouts. 2-1 shot to the second baseman, Mike Massey. Digs it out of the dirt and throws over to first to nab Isaac Collins. 1 gone for Skylar Hunter.
Sharply hit outside corner from Collins, who's batting from the right side. Did what he was supposed to with it, but like you said, right into the glove of the second baseman, Mike Massey. Now Skylar Hunter been swinging a little bit of a better bat as of late. We'll see what he can do.
Skylar Hunter, the switch hitter, batting right against Murphy. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. First pitch from the left-hander, up and away, 1-0. Murphy been working quickly the whole game, not stopping here in the top of the 5th. The 1-0 pitch from the lefty. In there, called strike on a fastball. A ball and a strike. A couple of Big Ten mates behind home plate. Joe Donovan from Michigan. Skylar Hunter in the batter's box from Purdue. 1-1 shows a bunt, pulls it back, misses outside, 2-1. 2-1 the count to the speedy Skylar Hunter. The pitch home is fouled off, chopped behind home plate into the left. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Murphy working from the third base side of the rubber out of the full windup. Drops the hands low, the 2-2 pitch. Misses outside. Good take from Skylar Hunter on the outer half. Full count, 3-2. The payoff pitch from the lefty Murphy fouled off into the netting. Skylar Hunter doing a good job protecting the outer half of the plate.
Putting together a little better of an at-bat. Skylar Hunter, we mentioned how the strikeout numbers, especially early on in the year, were pretty high for him, but he's done a good job of keeping those down, being a little more disciplined at the plate.
Another payoff pitch from the lefty. Outside, Skylar Hunter on with a 1-out walk. And that's the kind of catalyst you need on base. A speedy guy, and Hunter hasn't shown off a ton of base stealing ability this season, just 3 on the season. But then again, the Gatemen altogether really haven't stolen a lot of bases, haven't been too aggressive on the base paths, but we did see a little bit more aggression yesterday for Wareham, so we'll have to see if they pull that out again here with Jeremy Idens at the plate. First pitch to the UCLA left fielder, in there for a strike at the knees on the inside corner, 0-1. Still just 2 hits on the day for the Gatemen, although they have had a base runner in each inning. No balls and a strike. The pitch misses below the knees. Good eye from Idens, 1-1. Idens is 1 for 2 on the day. Bounced out to the second baseman Mike Massey in the first, and Singleton was stranded at second base back in the 3rd inning. Left-hander Murphy comes set his pitch home. This is low and inside, 2-1.
Although Murphy has been really good so far for Brewster, no doubt about it, only 1 of his 6 strikeouts have been of the looking variety, so it seems like Wareham's maybe starting to slow down the at-bats a little bit, especially as his pitch count starts to work up. 73 pitches coming into this inning. Can't imagine you'd go much further than this inning.
2-1, breaking ball misses low in the dirt, 3-1 now to Idens. Now up to 78 pitches in the inning for Murphy. Or excuse me, 88 pitches I should say. One of the longer outings in terms of pitch count we've seen this season for any pitcher on the Cape. 3-1 comes set at the belt, his delivery. Swung on, hit toward the ground under the glove of the shortstop Cameron Eden into left field, a single. So Jeremy Idens delivers with 1 out. Now the Gatemen are in a bit of business. First and second with just 1 gone for Zahid Valenzuela.
This is the part of the lineup that in theory should be able to produce at an alarming rate, and we've seen him do it before. Bats have yet to wake up today, but first and second 1 out while the Gatemen have been here before even today. Every time another opportunity. This the 3rd time through the lineup, that infamous 3rd time through the lineup. We'll see if Murphy here buckles under the pressure, if he can continue to shut down the Wareham bats.
His first pitch to Zahid Valenzuela popped up foul down the right field side. Jesse Franklin reaches over, and it will get foul, it looks like. Not sure what the exact call is. They'll say he did catch it. They'll say he was out of play, though, when he nabbed the ball over the fence. Skylar Hunter with a pretty heads-up base running decision there. He tried to tag up and move to 3rd, but now the home plate umpire, Rick Emerson, says, no, go back to 2nd. That ball was out of play. So Zahid Valenzuela's at-bat is still going. 0-1 the count to the Cal State Fullerton Titan, who has yet to have an official at-bat today. A walk and a hit by pitch so far for him. Short lead at 2nd for Skylar Hunter, the 0-1 to Valenzuela. Misses below the knees, 1-1.
White's been pounding the zone low, and for the most part the Gatemen batters have laid off the low stuff, especially that fastball. Just been missing it by little bits. But the Gatemen this 3rd time around the order, more disciplined.
Ball and a strike, look back at 2nd toward Hunter. The pitch home, waved on and missed, high fastball. Valenzuela taps the bat, makes a grimace. Wasn't too happy with his decision to swing there. Now it's a ball and 2 strikes with Austin Shenton on deck. Short open stance for Sahid Valenzuela. Black bat waved over the plate a couple of times, both wrists taped up in white. Murphy looks back at second, is 1-2 home. Is swung on and chopped toward the right side of the infield. Murphy will glove it. His hat falls off. He'll go to the bag unassisted. Races over. Jesse Franklin was there to cover, but he does make the out. So one unassisted on the putout of Sahid Valenzuela. Iden's up to second, and Skylar Hunter up to third. So 2 runners in scoring position now for the best hitter on this team, Austin Shenton.
And Sahid Valenzuela used that chopper to his advantage, put some pressure with his speed on the pitcher Murphy, and Murphy came barreling towards first base with all the momentum in the world. So it probably was the smart decision just to avoid any rushed underhanded throw or anything, to take it himself, either to tag Valenzuela on the way to first or just to run over and hit the pillow with your foot. But either way, the out recorded for Brewster.
First pitch to Shenton, misses down and away for a ball. Good stop by Donovan behind home plate. Now he'll call time and go out and have a chat with Chris Murphy on the mound. Murphy with that last pitch up to 94 on the day. He's gone through 4 2/3 innings thus far. Left-handed bat of Shenton, 0 for 2 today. Flied out to right field in the first and then struck out swinging to end the third inning. 1-0. Outside, 2-0 now. Similar situation where Shenton struck out last time up. Had 2 runners on, although those were just at first and second. Now runners in scoring position at second and third. 2 balls, no strikes. Belt high set for Murphy. Looks back at second, his pitch home. Swung on, fouled off. Actually went between the legs of Austin Shenton when he fouled it off. Took a funky hop off the dirt, but still a 2-1 count either way. It's World Cup time right now, and Shenton nutmegged himself there.
Heyo.
2-1 the count. Tan bat over the plate. Now rocks it back on his left shoulder. Murphy looks in, the 2-1. Breaking ball, misses low. Clipped off the glove of Joe Donovan, 3-1. Lyle Lockhart, who's already got a hit today, is on deck.
98th pitch of the day, coming up for Murphy.
Looks over at third where Skylar Hunter's dancing. Here's number 98. Fastball in there for a strike on the outer half, and he loads the count up at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
With pitch 99, could get out of the inning, complete his 5th inning of work. I'd be appalled if they let him go another inning. Some coaches aren't too tough on innings or pitch limits, but he has looked good so far. Big pitch coming up for both sides.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. The payoff pitch from Murphy misses upstairs and outside. Austin Shenton on with a 2-out walk, and the bases are loaded for Lyle Lockhart.
Now, one thing we're maybe forgetting in the midst of a grim-looking day for Wareham is that 2 days ago, the YD Red Sox came to Stony Brook, and they were down 6-0 to these very Whitecaps, and came back, scored 6 unanswered to tie the game. Or that was 3 days ago, 2 days ago, the Orleans Firebirds welcomed the Brewster Whitecaps to Eldridge Park. The Brewster Whitecaps were up 8-1 on the home team. Orleans walked off on them 9-8. So the bullpen has had its issues for Brewster. Still a lot of ball game to go.
First pitch to Lyle Lockhart. It's fastball 0-1, and it's certainly been a tough season for Brewster, and I think those two the loss and the tie really epitomized what kind of a season it has been for the Whitecaps. 0-1 from the lefties, fouled off back and right, quickly 0-2. So the bases are loaded for the Gatemen here, but they're down to their final strike in the inning with the switch hitter Lyle Lockhart at the plate, batting right against the lefty Chris Murphy, who is over 100 pitches on the day. 0-2 the count. Open stance with a red shin guard on his left leg for Lockhart. The left-hander working into the full windup. The 0-2 is swung on and popped up foul down the right field side. The right fielder Alejo gives it a look, but it will get out of play. So Lockhart keeps it going at 0-2. Lockhart, as we mentioned, 1 for 2 on the day. Grounded out 3 unassisted to the first baseman Jesse Franklin in the second. And then singled, stole a base, and was stranded at second in the fourth. Big mop of hair as he covers it back up with the Gateway Tavern helmets. Twists out his body, tries to limber up as he walks back into the right-handed batter's box. 0-2 the count against him. Murphy working out of the full windup with the bases loaded here in the top of the 5th. Left-hander comes set, rocks back, kicks and fires. 0-2 outside, 1-2. Crucial part of the Gatemen, or of the game, I should say, for the Gatemen here. You've got the bases loaded. You've already left 4 base runners on today. Can't afford to do it again here. No balls, 2 strikes. Shakes off one side, does Murphy. Says yes to the second. Rocks back, kicks, fires. 1-2 rope foul just out in front of a breaking ball. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Lockhart wanted that one back.
Yeah, straightens that one out. That puts the Gatemen right back into this one. 2, maybe 3 runs come to score. All the guys on the base paths, Hunter on third, Idens at second, and Shenton at first with some speed. Shenton the slowest of the troop, but no slouch on the base paths.
So still a ball and 2 strikes to Lockhart as he adjusts the black and white batting gloves as he strides back in and holds his hand up for time. Murphy already ready to go. The 1-2 pitch from the lefty. Swung on, tap foul off the leg of Lockhart. We'll do it again at 1-2. So the pitch count continues to climb up to 105 on the day for the left-hander from the University of San Diego. Lockhart himself has seen 6 pitches thus far in this at-bat. A ball and 2 strikes to Lockhart. Murphy says yes to the side. His pitch home. Just misses the outside corner. 2-2. A gutsy take from Lyle Lockhart.
But now Murphy's got to beat him one more time. Lockhart with a little bit of confidence maybe stepping back into the batter's box. Bases juiced, his team down by 6, 2-2 with 2 down for the Houston Cougar.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch from Murphy fouled off into the chain link fence behind home plate. And again, Lockhart stays alive. On the 8th pitch of the at-bat, it's still 2-2 to him.
Yeah, 9th one, like you said, coming up, JD. 100-plus here for Murphy. A hard-fought battle on both sides. We've seen this all year from Lockhart. Even though the batting average might not be where he wants it to be, he has put up one heck of a plate appearance after one heck of a plate appearance, working counts, fouling pitches off, being very disciplined at the plate. Love what I'm seeing from Lockhart here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The left-hander Murphy drops his hands. The pitch home, misses outside. 3-2 now. So 9 pitches in the at-bat from Chris Murphy to Lyle Lockhart Jr. 1 strike away from the end of an inning. 1 ball away from a run coming in to score for the Gatemen. It would be the first of the day. 3-2. Shakes off one side. Shakes off a second. Shakes his head yes to Joe Donovan. The payoff pitch 3-2. Swung on and popped up back and foul. Out in front of a breaking ball. And we'll do it again with another full count pitch coming up. Austin Shenton at first. Jeremy Idens at second. And Skylar Hunter at third. Here in the top of the 5th inning, the Gatemen trail it 6-0 against the league worst Brewster Whitecaps. Lockhart again taking his time to get back into the batter's box. 3-2 Murphy ready to go. Here comes his pitch. Swing and a hit right to the third baseman, Christian Malfetta. 2 jump steps and a throw on to first in time. And the Gatemen leave them loaded in the top of the 5th inning. Still a 6-0 Brewster lead as we head to the home half of the 5th. Enrique DeMore will have the play-by-play when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. My name's Henrique DeMore, alongside my broadcaster J.D. Rachi. 6-0 Brewster Whitecaps. Home team out ahead of the Gatemen here, as the sun is starting to set over the tree line behind the third baseline at Stony Brook Field. Might run out of daylight, but the Gatemen trying to milk all the everything they can out of their at-bats. Brendan White trying to get through these, all of a sudden, very potent Brewster lineup here in the top of the sixth. That one rifled straight back toward our location, 0-1. It'll be Cam Eden, Hunter Bishop, and Joe Donovan. 5, 6, 7 to go for Brewster against White in his first full inning of work. Came on in relief of Jack Ralston after he got into some trouble. Forgettable appearance for him out of the pen. 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 4 earned runs, pair of walks, no strikeouts. And not the way the White wanted to start things off. Eden dinged on the left arm by a fastball that wasn't located where he wanted it to. So one aboard here for the Brewster Whitecaps, and here comes Hunter Bishop. He's 0 for 1 today. Does have a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored, though, so made good on that trip to first base. Hunter Bishop out of ASU, like we've said. Brendan White of Siena delivers ball 1 upstairs. Bishop batting .206, but like I said, a pretty good day today. You mentioned how he's turned his season around this past week. Chops that one over to second, could be 2. Sahid Valenzuela over to short for 1, and they will settle for just 1. And they're going to call him safe as Ryan Kreidler hopped off the bag early. Too focused on getting the out at first and avoiding a potential slide from Cam Eden. Mental lapse in the field for Wareham. Now instead of potentially 1 or 2 outs with a little bit of a less nasty of a situation on the base paths, first and second for Joe Donovan, who's 1 for 1 with a pair of runs scored today.
Just one of those days for the Gatemen.
You're telling me.
We haven't seen many of them this season, as they have been steadfast as one of the top 2 teams in the league, but run production's not there, and they're going to call it an error. Not sure against who. It should be against Ryan Kreidler if they will call it that way.
I think so as well. Ball 1 inside to the right-hand hitting Joe Donovan. Navy blue helmet with the American flag sticker on the right side of things. Turquoise brim matching the turquoise of the Whitecaps. Strike 1 on the inside corner. Emphatic strike call from Rick Emerson, home plate umpire. Reps his Michigan Wolverines when he's doing his catching duties with the winged helmet. Now as a batter in his third plate appearance, 2-1 on him. Donovan came on as a defensive substitution for Brandon Moderado in yesterday's affair, the one that the Gatemen won 4-1. Breaking ball drops in there for strike 2. White bouncing back pretty nicely, keeping his pitches down. Breaking balls now with too much bite. But when they break thigh to knees as opposed to shoulders to elbows, you can find a lot more success. White drops into that squat, 2-2. Hard fastball rifled right back towards Valenzuela. Can't get to it. That'll sail into right field for a base hit. Heading over to third is Cam Eden. He's in there. Headed over third is Hunter Bishop, and scoring is Cam Eden. Now 7-0 Gatemen, and that base runner coming back to bite the Gatemen that they couldn't retire up the middle. 7-0 Whitecaps. Runners at the corners, nobody out.
Just barely got under the glove of Sahid Valenzuela. He almost made a really nice play, and if he had, Eden would have only been able to move up to third base. But nonetheless, it's just been a tough day for the Gatemen pitching staff. They've all left a lot of pitches up. Ahern, who we thought might have a tough outing, has actually probably had the best outing thus far. Brendan White has allowed each of the first 3 base runners to reach in this inning, although one of them did come on it was a fielder's choice and then ruled an E6 that they didn't get the runner at second.
Not being backed up by his defense, but like you said, JD, the command has been a bit of an issue for Gatemen pitchers. 0-1 at the knees, though, to Moderano out of UNC. 1 for 2, RBI single and a run scored. He's back in the 4th inning. The 4th inning, they saw the Brewster Whitecaps put up a 4 spot. This one dribbled easily over the Kreidler at short. He's going to have a little bit of trouble with it, so send it over to first, allow the run to score instead of opting for the double play. One out, but 8-0 Brewster as Hunter Bishop comes in to score in the 5th inning. And like we said, maybe starting to run out of daylight here. Games usually get called to Stony Brook around 8 o'clock. No lights here. Next to Stony Brook Elementary out in Brewster. But the Gatemen cannot really afford a loss right now, least of all to these Whitecaps. Hyannis off today. But in terms of just pride in keeping up with the points lead, YD actually with 30 points still trailing the Mariners. That one's strike one called. To Christian Malfetta. In the dirt, 1-1. Christian Malfetta out of Stanford, Southern California, and high school, Northern California, for his college baseball. Stanford, one of the better teams in the country this year. 1-1, shot high and foul. Down the right field line, 1-2. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Wareham. 8 runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Brewster Whitecaps. Brandon White trying to keep this inning manageable. We've mentioned how Brewster's bullpen has melted down in the past. A left-handed arm warming up for the Whitecaps as Chris Murphy's day no doubt done. Breaking ball tied him up. Strike 3, swung right through it. First of the day for White. Really well located fastball, and Malfetta's going to want that one back.
That's nasty stuff. Came in, and Malfetta had to fight it off. We've seen a couple of Gatemen do it this season, but none of them have struck down it. He fought it off and leaned back as he swung and kind of tomahawk chopped at it. Just couldn't make contact, and then there's 2 gone for Brendan White after 2 runs have come in to score in this inning.
That one rocketed into left field. No contest on that one. Another base hit for the Brewster Whitecaps. Holding up at third base, though, is Joe Donovan. So runners at the corners again, but this time with 2 outs. And wouldn't you know it, Dominic Canzone, a 4-for-4 day. 4 singles, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs as well.
Kid just continues to hit. Came into this game up above 300. Hitting .333 on the season with a .458 slugging percentage. That slugging percentage will actually come down because of all the singles in this game, but the average continues to climb steadily. Canzone has been probably, between he and Mike Massey, the best hitter on this Whitecaps team.
And Massey, an uncharacteristic 0-for-3 day, but he has hit the ball a long way today. 3 flyouts, 1 to center, left, and right. He's done a little bit of everything. His ball 1 comes in high to Alejo. It's on days like this, you wonder how Brewster only has 4 wins on the year. Their offense looks like a well-oiled machine today.
There's a lot of talent on this Brewster team. They just haven't been able to put it together. I'd say out of all the teams we've seen, they've probably got the most Power 5 talent. You look up and down this lineup, the only guy that's maybe not Power 5 is the guy at the plate, Ray Alejo out of UCF.
And even he had an absolutely awesome year as that one got a piece of him. The breaking ball didn't come down enough from White. Got just enough of Alejo's arm to send him over to first, and to second goes Canzone. No, but to your point, JD, I mean, even Alejo's redshirt sophomore year at UCF, we mentioned how he played for the Running Rebels of Ole Miss in 2016, sat out 2017 due to the NCAA transfer rule, but then in 2018, hit .300. His slash line was great down in Florida. So, Power 5 talent. They've got other types of talent here in Brewster, too. And now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, here comes Mike Massey. We mentioned he's 0-for-3. But in the 3rd inning, hit one just a few feet shy of the fence out there in dead center field here at Stony Brook. .315 down the left field line. Down the right field line. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell you as my vantage point isn't that great. And to dead center, we don't know, but it is a long way.
Pretty deep park here. 375 to the left center field alley. So if that tells you anything, it tells you that center field is very deep here at Stony Brook.
Yeah, and 380 down to right center. So center field, a little bit of estimation, 400 I'd say. Shade over.
Maybe a little bit more, similar to the dimensions of Spillane Field. 315 down the left field line at Spillane. That's the short porch, and then 330 down the right field side.
Couple more baseballs secured by home plate umpire Rick Emerson. One of those fresh ones delivered out to the guy on the bump for Wareham. Brandon White trying to get out of what has already been a run-producing inning for Brewster, but could get a little uglier as the That one misses upstairs, 1-1. Bases loaded, 8-0 Brewster here at Stony Brook, looking for just their 5th win of the season. Are the Whitecaps. 1-1. Got him with the letter, strike 2.
It's a big pitch coming up for Brendan White. I know it's already 8-0, but you'd like to stem the damage as much as possible so the Gatemen can at least attempt to come back against this Brewster bullpen, which has had its problems over the last week or so.
That one chopped over to Valenzuela, should do it. Fields it on a high hop over to first in time. So the Brewster Whitecaps do strand 2, but they score 2. They lead at 8-0 as we go to the top of the 6th inning here from Stony Brook Field. We're going to give it over to Ian Becerra in just a little bit for our second Cape League update of the day here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
And it's time for the second and final Cape League update of the night. As previously mentioned, the Chatham Anglers won the first game of the doubleheader, 1-0 over the Falmouth Commodores. And in Game 2, the Anglers are all over the Commodores again in this one. It is 7-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Over in YD, the Harwich Mariners are winning 4-3 over the Red Sox. That game is in the bottom of the 7th. Over in Cotuit, the Orleans Firebirds are ahead in that one, 7-5 in the bottom of the 6th. And 2 teams tonight are off in the Cape League. The Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks have the night off. That's our second and final Cape League update. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ian, as always, for all the phenomenal work he does on a day-to-day basis and pulling a little bit of double duty today. We're slightly short-staffed on the Gatemen Baseball Network, but not to worry. A lot of multifaceted, multi-talented people.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have a hand for Chris Murphy, who's on the bench.
Chris Murphy, his day is done.
Well done, Chris.
Now coming in for Brewster, a new arm, it's Brady Basso, the junior out of Oklahoma State, 6'2", 210. Great year for him. Works exclusively out of relief, 2.16 ERA, 6 strikeouts in 8 innings, but only allowed 3 walks. The alarming number, though, is that whip, 192, and the opponent batting average, 342. But a similar guy, even we talked about like Ben Dragani yesterday, gives up a lot of base runners. The walk number's not as high, but the hit number's very high for Basso. But he managed to work out of situations pretty nicely. Like we said, he's only given up the 6 runs total, 2 earned runs on the year.
Also another left-hander, so the Gatemen lineup is typically loaded with lefties, not as much as it usually is today. Gian Martellini, the right-handed hitting catcher, will lead it off, but a lot of switch hitters in this lineup as well, and a lot of those guys hit better from the left side just because they see right-handed pitching more, so they'll hit left-handed a little bit more than they would right-handed. So I think a good move here from Brewster to go into the pen for another lefty. Lefties have already had so much success today with Chris Murphy pitching 110 pitches in his 5 innings, and he has stifled the Gatemen to just 3 hits and no runs.
And the final line on Murphy, like you said, 110-pitch outing, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, no runs earned or otherwise, as we know. 3 hits over those 5 innings. But now Basso will face 5, 6, 7, Gian Martellini, Cade Cavalli, and Ryan Kreidler. Trying to get something going here before the sun sets at Stony Brook. First pitch to Martellini, ball low. Martellini 0 for 1 today, walking a strikeout. That's from the right side. The pitch. That one got him at the knees. Similar pitch, different result, 1-1. Martellini, the highlight of his offensive career on the Cape so far. Obviously, that 3-run home run against his former Cotuit Kettleers team, who he played for last summer. That one in the dirt, missed badly. Martellini jumped over it, 2-1 to the Wareham catcher. Looking ahead for both these teams, Wareham off to Cotuit. Again, that's tomorrow. That one lasered down the left field line, and Mike Mobbs at third base, not even flinching. That one really didn't miss him by much. The fact that he stood stock still there, pretty impressive.
He's already flashed the palm, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say leather maybe, but
leather
I
not
see
on his hand, but a left-handed grab on a foul ball a couple of innings ago, and now stoic at the third base coach's spot.
That one did not miss by much. Donovan tried to frame it there behind the plate, but the count goes full to Martellini. Looking ahead for Brewster tomorrow, they welcome the YD Red Sox to town for the second time in 4 days. Payoff pitch. Swinging a ground ball, sharply hit, but gobbled up. Nice play there by Molfetti's going to go across the diamond, barely in time. As Jesse Franklin drops the glove over at first base. 1 up, 1 down here for Wareham in the 6th inning. Cade Cavalli, the batter, finished up his freshman year at Oklahoma. We mentioned a two-way guy. Not the best year at the plate. Actually, excuse me. Pinch hitter, that's Drew Millis up at the plate. Cade Cavalli's day is done. Just easy substitution in that DH spot. Cavalli ends the day 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Now Millis is the batter. Sophomore out of Missouri State. Switch hitter. Batting from the right side against the lefty, Brady Basso. Taps the dirt near home plate twice, brings the bat up. Now Basso ready with his offering. Hard fastball, misses inside, 1-0. Millis 234 on the year. Skies that one a mile high towards our direction, but it'll land about 20 feet behind us. 1-1.
Foul ball's worth a little bit more here at Brewster. You can redeem it for a coupon to a restaurant if you actually collect a foul ball. So
wow,
something a little special for the kids.
That's big information. Millis swings and misses at that one. 1-2. $11Ks on the year for Millis, but 11 hits, just one of those extra base variety. 1-2 to him. Slaps that one straight back. Stays alive. We'll do it again. 1-2. Millis, Roscom, and Gian Martellini sharing time behind the plate. Michael Amditis at one point was on this roster, bringing that total up to 4 catchers on the year. But 3, as JD mentioned, as Martellini was cut, then re-signed. The 1-2 in the dirt, 2-2 to Millis. But all 3 of those guys have also hit in the DH spot at one point or another. Roscom also has played third at some point, played first. Drew Millis we've seen in right field. So no shortage of fielding depth for these Wareham Gatemen. But Millis pinch hitting the DH spot tonight. Thought about it on that one. Good take, 3-2. Eight 0 Brewster, top of the 6th here at Stony Brook. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Wareham. 8 runs on 8 hits, no errors for Brewster. With 1 out, the payoff pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, shallow left field. Coming in on it is Canzone. Eden converging on it. Canzone calls off the rest of his fielders and makes the grab for out number 2.
Drew Millis with a pretty good fight against the left-hander Basso, but that time just got a little bit too far underneath a fastball and popped it up into left field. Gatemen still trying to find a groove here. So we are in the top of the 6th inning, still just 3 hits on the scoreboard for Wareham today.
It's been that kind of day for the Gatemen. Like we said, Brewster always plays them tough, but Brewster been doing just about everything here correctly against Wareham as time is called, as the home plate umpire Rick Emerson walks off, kind of takes a peek into the crowd and walks back. Still waiting on the first pitch is Kreidler. He'll get it right here. Fastball comes in. Thought it might have nicked him, but not the case. Bounces into the glove of Donovan back there behind the plate, wearing that winged helmet like we talked about. Helps us out as broadcasters no matter where we are to see any defensive substitutions. Hard to miss that. And time called there again. 2-0. Or excuse me, 1-0. Would have been 2-0.
It's the second time that Basso has come all the way home with a pitch after Ryan Kreidler has called time at home plate. Gatemen trying to slow this game down as much as they possibly can. Try to find something here.
Yeah, he and Chris Murphy have been quick to the plate like you alluded to a couple innings ago, JD. That fastball zips under the knees of Kreidler, 2-0. Basso trying to keep the pressure on Wareham tempo-wise. Not letting his foot off the gas. But behind Kreidler here, 2-0 from the windup. That one skied foul straight back, 2-1. Approaching the 2.5-hour mark in this one. We started at 5:05, 7:22 here. The 2-1. Broken bat, sharply hit, but right at the shortstop, Cam Eden fields it on his left. Nice scoop by Franklin at first base. And the side is retired. The Gatemen go down 1-2-3 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still 8-0 Brewster here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. We're bringing you Wareham Gatemen Baseball again versus the Brewster Whitecaps today. 8-0 in favor of those home team Whitecaps. My name's Henrique DeMore. To my right, J.D. Rachi. On the bump still for Wareham, Brandon White. He's given up 2 earned runs so far, but looking to find a little bit of a rhythm and keep this at an 8-0 ball game. Brewster has scored in every single inning except the third. 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Both of those came off Tyler Ahern, who, for all intents and purposes, really did have a very serviceable start. The Gatemen bats haven't been able to get much of anything going. Brewster put up a 4 spot in the 4th, 2 more in the 5th. Before you know it, 8-0. That one is absolutely hammered down the right field line. That's a fair ball. We're going to roll all the way to the corner. Around first, coming into second is James Franklin. Jesse Franklin, excuse me. He's in there with a leadoff double. His second of the day, moves to 2 for 4 on the day with those doubles. Now Cam Eden, the batter, with a man in scoring position.
Franklin's a really talented guy. Just came off his freshman season at Michigan. Short, compact, powerful, left-handed stroke. He has got a pretty swing at the plate. He is going to do big things in the Big Ten in the next couple of years. And the fact that he's on the Cape after just his freshman season and the top level of collegiate summer baseball says a lot about him as a player.
Young man certainly got a bright future ahead of him, as you said, J.D., in the Cape, wherever he, I imagine, will go as he gets drafted at some point. And in Ann Arbor for the next couple of years, along with Joe Donovan, his Ann Arbor teammate. That one is skied. Routine in right center field. Skylar Hunter comes over on it, ranging into right center, and makes the catch. Holding up at second is Franklin. Throw comes in. To no avail. Runner holds. 2 up, 1 down, I should say. Cam Eden still hitless on the day. Now Hunter Bishop, the batter. He's 0 for 2.
Here we go, folks. Wearing number 24 from the Sun Devils of Arizona State University, center fielder Hunter Bishop.
Out of ASU, like you just heard there. Pair of runs scored, 1 stolen base as well for him. Reached on a tough play. As Zahid Valenzuela tried to turn it into a double play. There's a throw sailed high as that one is hammered into deep left field. Iden's ranging over on it, makes the catch. Man, oh man, he gave that one a ride. A couple first pitch swings, couple of hard hit balls. But out of nowhere, Brandon White all of a sudden has 2 outs. Still at second, though, in scoring position is Jesse Franklin.
That was the opposite way for Hunter Bishop. The fact that he put that much pop into a pitch that was down in the zone and lifted it out there just shows how much power he's got in his left-handed bat out of Arizona State. Big, muscular guy. Prototypical corner outfielder you'd figure moving forward as he continues to progress through the ranks of baseball.
Donovan, the batter, takes ball 1 low, trying to bring his fellow Michigan Wolverine Jesse Franklin in. He's at the second base, reached on that leadoff double. 9th hit of the day for Brewster. Brandon White, after a pair of quick flyouts, trying to silence these Brewster bats here for just the second inning today. Strike at the knees, evens the count 1-1 to Donovan. 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, 2 singles, and RBI for him. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball low. Took a little something off it. Actually might not have been a breaking ball. Maybe just a fastball with a little bit of cut. Didn't loop as much as White stuff usually does. 1-2, just one pitch away from getting out of the inning. 8-0 Whitecaps. Wareham trying to turn it over to the top of their lineup. White on the verge of one of his quicker innings of work. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. That one dribbles away from Martellini, though. He's going to throw over to first to complete the strikeout. Second one of the day for White. That one, of course, brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard, the official strikeout sponsor of your Wareham Gatemen. After surrendering the leadoff double, the Gatemen managed to stifle the Brewster Whitecaps. 1-2-3 in the 6th. We go to the top of the 7th inning when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Stony Brook. 8-0 Brewster. 8 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Whitecaps. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the Gatemen. Brady Basso's day is done. He went 1 inning of work. Very solid out of Oklahoma State. No runs, no hits, no walks, no errors, no nothing. Owen Griffith will take over, the sophomore from Clemson. 6'1", 190 junior. Sophomore entering his junior season. My apologies. Out of Aiken, South Carolina originally. Right-hander wears number 32. Has not gone more than 2 innings this year. Exclusively a bullpen guy. 1-0 record, 3.60 ERA. 8 strikeouts, 10 innings of work, 4 walks, 9 hits for the Whitecaps this year. He really has been solid. Gatemen Bats trying to get something going here. As subbing in the right field spot and in the 8-hole is Jacob Goldfarb. Bust out of a slump with a big 2-run double the other day against these very Whitecaps. Oh, the other day? It was yesterday. So he will sub in for the right fielder Isaac Collins. I imagine will take over in the right field spot as well. Skylar Hunter waits on deck. 0 for 1 today, but has been swinging a bit of a better bat as of late. Goldfarb wearing number 45. Of course, a number formerly of Joey Matulovic. Redshirt junior out of Oregon. Takes ball 1 low. Isaac Collins' day is done. 0 for 2 pair of groundouts for the outfielder from Creighton. Takes that one over to the shortstop, Eden. Chopper fields it on a couple hops, pumps and throws. 6-3 put out, good enough for the Gatemen here. Or excuse me, for the Brewster Whitecaps here. 1 out, base is empty for Hunter. 0 for 1, strikeout and a walk today. Jeremy Idens waits on deck, one of the few bright spots today for Wareham. He has been on a tear out of the leadoff spot, pair of singles for him. Only other Gateman with a base knock today, that's Lyle Lockhart. Bats 4th, so if the game can string together some hits, we could see him in this inning. That one weekly hit third base side. Should be routine for Malfetta across the diamond to beat a speedy Skylar Hunter. 5-3 on the putout. Quickly 2 up, 2 down for the Brewster Whitecaps. Owen Griffith working very nicely. Pretty low leverage situation for him, obviously. 8-0 Brewster here at Stony Brook. On the verge of just their 5th Cape League win of the year. It has been a tough year, to say the least, for the Brewster Whitecaps, but taking it to the Gatemen here. Ball low there to Jeremy Idens. Base is empty, 2 down. Swung at that one, tipped it foul, and it looked like it got a piece of both Idens and Donovan, both of them trying to walk it off. 1-1 to Idens. Donovan out there to talk to his pitcher. Idens out of UCLA, but played his summer ball last year with the Mankato Moondogs of the Northwoods League. Saw him a little bit, beat up on my Duluth Huskies. 2 current Gatemen, former Huskies as well. Luke Roskman and Isaac Collins played together in Duluth last year. Now the 1-1 pitch to Jeremy Idens. That one in the dirt. 2-1. And a whole bevy, and I mean a bevy, of defensive substitutions for Brewster. Justin Ammon subs in for Ray Alejo at right field. Gage Workman in for Massey. He plays shortstop. Ike Freeman in for Eden. Christopher Wright in for Jesse Franklin at first base. And Brandon Wolf for Brandon Moderato. That one is skied routine into shallow center field. And the new right fielder, Justin Ammons, makes the catch. 4 out, number 3. The Gatemen go quietly in the 7th. Still 8-0 here at Stony Brook. Stretch time here in Brewster. We'll be right back on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Stony Brook Elementary here at the Brewster Whitecaps home stadium, just adjacent to the elementary school. My name's Enrique Demore. Taking this inning by myself, a glorious adventure undertaken on my part here. J.D. Rauchi getting the inning off, but he'll be back for the 8th inning here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Brandon White back out there for yet another inning of work. He'll face 8-9-1 Brandon Matarano, Christian Malfetta, and Dominic Canzone. 8-0 Brewster here. That one hammered into center field. Skylar Hunter coming in on it and will make the catch. Hard hit from Matarano, but just got unlucky. Hit it right into the glove of a very good outfielder in Skylar Hunter. The Purdue Boilermaker makes the grab. 1 up, 1 down. Brandon White came on, excuse me, so sorry. Came on with 1 out in the 4th. Retired 2 out of 3 batters he faced in the 4th. 5th inning got roughed up a little bit, was let down by a hit by pitch and an error. Also had a couple of walks, or 1 walk in that inning. And in the 6th, despite giving up the second double of the day to Jesse Franklin, worked very nicely and got the rest of the batters 1, 2, 3. That one dribbled over to the new second baseman, Oliver Dunn, as he fires over to first. For out number 2, a 4-3 put out for those of you keeping score at home. And now the hot-hitting Dominic Canzone, 4 for 4 on the day. My goodness. Out of Ohio State, like you heard there. Canzone, like I said, 4 for 4, 4 singles. Stolen base, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs for him as well. Having himself an absolutely phenomenal day. Brandon White trying to put an end to that streak. First pitch to him, strike at the knees. Goldfarb out there in right, subbing in for Isaac Collins, and as we mentioned, Oliver Dunn in at second. 1-1 as that one misses. White the 1-1. That one chopped. This should end the streak. White on a high hop over to first, and the 1-3 put out does it. And a very quick 1-2-3 inning. Brewster Whitecaps go down in order 8-9-1. We go to the top of the 8th here from Stony Brook. Still 8-0 Brewster on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Welcome back to Stony Brook, 8-0 Brewster on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Enrique Demore, I can say my name correctly, and J.D. Rauchi bringing you the call here from Brewster. 8-0 home team, 8 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Brewster. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Wareham. Couple changes in the lineup. We mentioned Jacob Goldfarb batting in the spot of Isaac Collins and playing right field. Now Oliver Dunn in. We saw him sub in at second already, and will bat in Sahid Valenzuela's offensive spot as well, playing second base, the sophomore out of Utah. Had himself one heck of a day earlier this week, 2 for 3. Oliver Dunn fouls off the first pitch and hammers that one deep into left field. Oliver Dunn is robbed by Canzone. A nice running grab. Man, oh man. Canzone doing it all for the Brewster Whitecaps today. 4 hits at the plate and took extra bases away from Dunn. But that's still good to see. Swinging a hot bat, put a charge into that one, opposite field as well. But one up, one down here in the 8th for Wareham.
Play becomes all the more impressive because Canzone was shading Oliver Dunn to pull to the right field, or was shading into right field for Oliver Dunn to pull, so he had to run even further to make that catch.
Ball 1 to Austin Shenton.
Play number 12 from FIU, Austin Shenton.
An 0 for 2 day brings him down to uncharted territory for Mr. Shenton. The 300s, 395 on the year. Trying to bump that back up to 400. It's not often this guy goes hitless. And he is ahead of the count here to Owen Griffith, out for his second inning of work, just threw 7 pitches in the 7th. It was a remarkably quick inning for him. But Shenton ahead of the count, like I said, 2-0 here. 2-0 pitch, right at the knee, strike 1. Lyle Lockhart waits on deck. One of the 2 Gatemen today with a base knock. Shoots that one back, 2-2. Looking ahead for both these teams, tomorrow the YD Red Sox come to town, East Division leading YD Red Sox. But as Ian mentioned, they were trailing Harwich and now have tied them in the bottom of the 9th. Look at YD go, 4-4 at Red Wilson Field. Can't imagine that one goes much longer, though. No lights over there as well. 2-2 shot high and deep into right center field. Bishop and Ammons converging on it, and they will watch this one go. No, made the catch. My apologies. Whoever made the catch was blocked by Lyle Lockhart in my line of vision. My apologies there. A long fly out for Austin Shenton and an 0 for 3 day for him. Lyle Lockhart will now bat with the bases empty and 2 outs.
Well hit ball from Austin Shenton, but again, it's been one of those days for the Gatemen. Just can't find the gaps. Only 3 hits today. Lyle Lockhart has one of them, though.
Lyle Lockhart does indeed have one of them. Also stolen base on a 1 for 3 day for him. Jeremy Idens, the other 2 Gatemen hits. He's 2 for 4, pair of singles for him. 0-1 to the switch hitting 2-way player from Houston. One takes that one on the outside corner, 0-2. Griffith 1 pitch away from another fantastic inning. Orleans and Katua still in that back and forth affair. But they are ahead of the Kettleers at Lowell Park, 7-6. Orleans playing some really good baseball right now. That one chopped weakly over to first. Right over his pitcher Griffith, a 1-3 putout. Ends the inning for the Gatemen. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here from Stony Brook on the Gatemen Baseball Network. 8-0 Brewster when we come back. 8-0 Whitecaps here at Stony Brook. Bottom of the 8th inning, and all those defensive substitutions we talked about coming into fruition here as Justin Ammons will bat. The new right fielder takes over Ray Alejo's spot. Out of Tennessee, Ray Alejo's day is done. Well, Alejo out of UCF. Poor juxtaposition of words. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of walks, but now Justin Ammons will bat here. He is out of Tennessee, 0 for 4 yesterday. Brings a .212 average into the matchup today. That one shot straight back. Brandon White still out there. Despite a rocky start to the game for him, he has settled in pretty nicely, giving up just two runs, one of them earned. A walk, pair of strikeouts in 3 2/3 for the sophomore out of Siena.
Brandon White has been great out of the bullpen. Aside from that first full inning of work in the 5th when he gave up 2 earned runs, he has been lights out in the last 2 innings. Just 1 base runner allowed in the 6th and none in the 7th.
And that one a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Went with a fastball there, tried to challenge him on the outside corner, and Ammons is rung up looking. Third strikeout of the day for White, brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. One away, and now 7 straight Brewster Whitecaps retired by White. Like you said, JD, he really seems to have found his groove.
He's been locating the breaking ball much better than he had earlier in the game when he hit a couple of guys and let a lot of guys on base, and he's really settled in. It's been impressive.
Strike 1 delivered to Gage Workman. Heck of a pitch out of the hand of White. He is in his bag right now. Bases empty, 1 away. 0-1 to the new shortstop, Gage Workman. Chops that one weakly right side. White's going to field it before it goes foul. Flips over to his first baseman and make that 8 straight retired by White.
And that's been even more impressive than just retiring 8 in a row is how he's done it. It's been a lot of weak contact. Really, these Brewster Whitecaps haven't been able to get back into the same stride that they were in through the first 4 innings or so. Scored 1 in each of the first 2 innings, then 4 in the 4th and 2 in the 5th. Since then, shut down by White.
And even that one catches the outside corner, and part of it has been stuff like this, JD. Get the first pitch strikes. He really has looked much more comfortable up there when he's not worrying about where to locate, and he's not aiming, he's just throwing. And that first pitch strike, a big reason for that confidence. That one tipped into the glove of Martellini, bounces out though, but nonetheless 0-2. Set to be an extremely efficient inning for White. Came into the inning with 48 pitches. Now on the verge of throwing his 57th, excuse me. I can do math. The 0-2. Swinging a hammer foul. Straight back into the trees. We'll do it again. Ike Freeman waits on deck. But unless Chris Wright bats here, he might not get a plate appearance, barring an 8-run miracle from Wareham in the top of the 9th. The 0-2. So caught him looking, thought about going around, did Chris Wright, but not a chance on the firm fastball. Another strikeout for White, and another one brought to you by Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. Heck of an inning for the sophomore from Siena. We'll be right back, top of the 9th, coming at you from Brewster on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Top of the ninth, it is miracle time for the Gatemen. They trail by 8, Gian Martellini, followed by Drew Millis and Ryan Kreidler, 5, 6, 7, set to go for Wareham. Still against Owen Griffith, who has been lights out in his own right. That one chopped foul ground third base side. Griffith 2 innings of work, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. And a couple of those categories look better with a 0 in them than others, granted, but still an awesome day for Griffith out of Clemson. That one in the dirt. The 2 relievers out of the bullpen after Chris Murphy, who had an awesome day himself, have all faced the bare minimum number of batters. 10 straight Gatemen retired by the Brewster bullpen, who we had much maligned coming into this game and even through the beginning of this game.
We thought that if the Gatemen could get through Chris Murphy, maybe get a couple of runs, that eventually they could try to start making a comeback, but this bullpen has been great. Brady Basso comes in for 1 inning, and Owen Griffith, as you said, has been absolutely electric out of the bullpen.
The 2-1, swing and a miss, good hard fastball at the thighs. 2-2 to Martellini. 0 for 2 today, strikeout and a walk. That walk back in the second. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on strikes. Fastball came in low. Martellini chased it.
It's a great pitch there from Owen Griffith, just his first strikeout of the day in his 3rd inning of work, but doesn't matter what he's thrown up there. The Gatemen have not been able to hit it.
Tough day at the plate for Wareham, but like you mentioned, stellar day on the bump for Brewster pitching as well, especially out of this bullpen. The 1 away and the base is empty. Gatemen down to their last 2 outs. Drew Millis out of Missouri State in the designated hitter spot. He's going to shoot that one into left field and foul.
Now to plate number 13, Drew Millis.
Gatemen will most likely drop back to 4 games over 500, 15-11. Brewster picking up just their 5th win like we discussed. 5-18-3. That one shot through into right field. Almost a fantastic play by the new second baseman, Ike Freeman. He actually did get a glove on it. Managed to soften the blow into right field. But a base knock for Drew Millis, and now with 1 out and 1 on, here comes Ryan Kreidler.
Who knows? Maybe the start of a Gatemen rally here.
See if
anything will do here for the Gatemen, considering they've only had 3 hits coming into this inning, 4 hits now with Drew Millis, so they will try to keep things going, but it is starting to get dark here in Brewster, and of course no lights here at Stony Brook.
I imagine they'll play out the rest of this half inning. I think everybody just wants to go home. First pitch to Kreidler, chopped foul into the Brewster dugout, 0-1. 0-1, just missed, 1-1. They do, in fact, rule that a single. I think rightfully so, even though Freeman did get a glove on it. It was a diving attempt by him. That one dribbled into right field. 4th base hit of the day for Wareham, as JD said. That one a strike at the knees, 1-2. One on, 1 out. Gatemen trail by 8. Playing for pride points at this point. The 1-2. In the dirt, 2-2. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Wareham. 8 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Brewster Whitecaps. Dancing audaciously out there on first base as Drew Millis says that one is sent into right center field. Nice running catch over there in center by Bishop. Ryan Kreidler is retired. Scampering on back to first is Drew Millis. The Gatemen are down to their last batter. It is Jacob Goldfarb.
If you're Drew Millis there, just take off. He was already halfway down the base path. Owen Griffith was paying no mind to him.
Absolutely not. No, neither was right at first.
Might as well at least try to take an extra bag. He elects not to, and now Jacob Goldfarb represents the last Gateman out here.
Sun has all but set here at Stony Brook. Hard fastball low. That one caught enough of the outside corner to get the call from Rick Emerson, and out down to second base without a throw, Drew Millis.
Likely be scored defensive indifference.
I would imagine so, especially this late in the game. That one fouled off, 0-2. On deck, Skylar Hunter hoping Goldfarb can do something with the bat here. Get him one last crack at Brewster pitching. That one rifled foul down the third base line. Caught a fan sleeping over there. No harm done as that one rolled under the bleachers where she was sitting, rattled around there, and jolted her awake.
They will call it defensive indifference, so no stolen base for Drew Millis, but moves up to second.
Is in scoring position for Goldfarb, who had a pair of RBIs. Both came in yesterday's game against the Whitecaps. A big 2-run double, 1 for 3 on the day. In the dirt, 0-1. Or excuse me, 1-2. Ball 1 is what I meant to say. But Goldfarb cut by the Kettleers actually the day after Wareham came to Lowell Park and beat up on them 8-1. Had just one hit on the year, picked up by Wareham, and got his second. 1-2, just missed. 2-2. Really good breaking ball out of the right hand of Griffith.
It's a great pitch there from Owen Griffith. If he gets Goldfarb to chase, this game's over, and it just barely missed being called a strike.
The 2-2. That one a little dribbler. Foul straight back. 2-2. Goldfarb staying alive.
Looked like it might have hit off his left ankle.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the ankle/shin protector on his right foot, but hopping up and down as he nicked one off at some sort of body part.
Runner on second, 2 down. 2-2 from Griffith. Swinging another little dribbler. Ooh, this one looked like it got him off the left shin as that one fouled it straight off into the ground, bounced back. Bent over in a little bit of discomfort is Goldfarb, but he's good. Tough kid from Oregon. Repping the Oregon Ducks on his cleats. The green O just barely obscured by the long pants today. White cleats, green laces, pretty fresh. I mentioned these maroon cranberry-ish uniforms for Wareham today. First time we're seeing them. They are pretty cool. The debut of the alternate here for Wareham. One more time with 2 down, the 2-2. Griffith kicks and fires. Outside, 3-2. Lefty Goldfarb waves the bat once, twice, 3 times, and sets that right bat over his shoulder, but not before Griffith will step off, so we'll have to wait one more time for this payoff pitch. Griffith takes a deep breath. Payoff pitch. Just low, he lost him. So now 2 aboard for the Gatemen. First time they've had any sort of base runner aboard since the 5th, when they did have 2 aboard with 2 outs, and in a familiar situation here.
Number 51 out of Purdue.
Skylar Hunter will bat 0 for 2 with a walk.
Skylar Hunter.
Like I said, if nothing else, playing for pride at this point. Jeremy Idens, 2 for 4 on the day. He waits on deck. First pitch to Hunter. Lets the fastball at shoulder level go by, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. That one shot into left field. Going to get down for a base hit. Going to be extra bases for Skylar Hunter. Scoring from second is Drew Millis. And they're going to wave around Jacob Goldfarb from first. And he will score. So, little 2-spot. Skylar Hunter doubles in a pair of runs. And now with 2 down and a man on second again, Gatemen have shown a little bit of life.
They're going to send Goldfarb back to third here. Ball got into the batting cage down the left field line. It was called dead. So we'll go as a ground rule double of sorts for Skylar Hunter. So just 1 RBI and just an 8-1 lead for Brewster, but still a good hit, especially for a guy that's still trying to break out of a slump.
Brings his batting average up closer to 200. Hard hit ball from Hunter, good to see. Idens will bat now with runners on second and third. That one chopped, just foul down the left field line. They do, in fact, rule that a ground rule double, but like you said, 1 RBI. Second and third, 2 down here, top of the 9th inning. Gatemen trying to add a couple runs before this one's over. Griffith from the stretch, the 0-1. In the dirt, evens the count, 1-1. We'll have the Gatemen Postgame Show for you here as soon as this one is up from Stony Brook. Ian Becerra, like we said, pulling double, triple, quadruple duty for us. Really appreciate him. He'll be hosting that and have an interview with our player of the game just after this one wraps up here in Brewster. Upstairs, 2-1 to Idens. Griffith again from the stretch. The sophomore from Clemson gives the 2-1. That one fisted into shallow center field, but running over on it is Ike Freeman. He grabs the blooper out of the sky, and the Brewster Whitecaps take this one 8-1 over the Gatemen. Their 5th win of the season, the Gatemen's 11th loss of the year. Tough one all around for Wareham. The bats couldn't seem to get going. Chris Murphy was masterful on the bump. Brady Gasso and Owen Griffith were stellar out of the bullpen. And although the Gatemen couldn't seem to get anything going on the offensive side of things, Tyler Ahern was good, but Jack Ralston a little bit tough, a little bit rough out of the bullpen. He gave up 4 earned and a third of an inning of work. There were a couple of positives to take away, I think, and I think the big one was Brandon White. He was absolutely awesome out of the pen despite the 1 rough inning.
Yeah, Brandon White looked great. You mentioned that rough inning. It was the very first one the first full one he worked. Came in and got the last 2 outs of the 5th inning, but he ends up going 4 2/3 innings out of the bullpen. That is a long relief appearance for a guy that, yes, was a long reliever this season at Siena and was a starter at times as well, but that's still a lot of innings to work. He did a great job, located the breaking ball well, and really cooled off the Brewster bats that were absolutely red hot to start this game.
Jeremy Idens also a good day at the plate. He went 2 for 4, or 2 for 5, I should say. Lyle Lockhart with a base knock, Drew Millis with a base knock, and Skylar Hunter with a nice little double to push his batting average to $192 on the year. Good to see some hard hit balls from him. Even Oliver Dunn in his 1 pinch hit appearance hit a missile out into left field, but with a nice running catch, Dominic Canzone, who, he did it all for Brewster today. We talked about it. He went 4 for 5. Had an absolutely awesome day at the plate. And it was really the offense kind of came through him. Only 2 Brewster Whitecaps, get this, only 2 Brewster Whitecaps in the current starting lineup. My apologies, I got a little overzealous there. Only 4 Whitecaps with base hits. 4 for Canzone, 2 for Joe Donovan, 2 for Jesse Franklin, and 1 for Brandon Materano. So it was just a few guys that kept on producing for the Brewster Whitecaps, but a lot of free passes, base knocks, pass balls that were taken advantage of as well.
Yeah, it was a sloppy day, both pitching and defensively for the Gatemen. There was an error on Ryan Kreidler, you remember, a couple of innings ago that allowed 1 run to score, so only 1 of the runs coming in against Brendan White will be scored as an earned run. A couple of passed balls, a couple of wild pitches, and really it was just hits coming in the clutch. There might not have been a lot of them, but the Gatemen offered a few free issued a few free passes, hit 2 batters, so it was really Brewster manufacturing runs for which is something we really haven't seen them do all season long. The worst run differential in the league. Gets a little bit better here with a +7 run differential in this game today. But all around it was just a good game for the Whitecaps and probably the most disappointing and the least best, I guess you could say. I want to say worst.
That's a way you could put it.
Least best game of the season for the Gatemen.
So we're going to send it to a break here before we throw it to Ian Becerra, the host of our post-game show, who will have a wrap-up of things here from Stony Brook, an interview with tonight's player of the game when we come back.
And in case you missed any of our broadcast tonight, I'm Ian Becerra for the recap of tonight's game. In the first inning, the Brewster Whitecaps got the run scoring going when Jesse Franklin hit an RBI double to put Brewster ahead 1-0. In the second, the Whitecaps were back at it again. Dom Canzoni ripped an RBI single to put Brewster ahead 2-0 at that point. In the third inning, the Whitecaps went down 1-2-3, but in the fourth, that's where the trouble started for the Gatemen. 4 runs came to score in that inning, and Brewster took a 6-0 lead after that frame. The highlights of that inning were 2 RBI singles by Brendan Maritone and Dom Canzone in that inning. Over in the fifth, the Whitecaps again scored another run as Joe Donovan ripped an RBI single, and they tacked on one more to make it an 8-0 lead after 5 innings. The scoring was done from there until the ninth when Skylar Hunter ripped an RBI double to make it 8-1, and that's where the final would be. The Whitecaps won this one 8-1. Chris Murphy was the winning pitcher as he threw 5 innings, allowed no runs on 110 pitches, walked 4, struck out 6, and allowed 3 hits. The losing pitcher in this one was tonight's starter for the Gatemen, Tyler Ahern. He was the loser, pitching 3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits, walking 1, and striking out 3. As for the Gatemen on the offensive side, not much went on tonight. Just recorded 5 hits. Jeremy Idens had 2 of those. We saw Drew Mills hit in the 9th as well. And, of course, the Skylar Hunter RBI double. So it was a tough day for the Wareham Gatemen offense, really shut down by Chris Murphy and the bullpen by Brewster following that. And as for the Whitecaps, this was a big win for them. Just their 5th on the year as they improved to 5-18-3 overall. With the loss, Wareham drops to 15-11 on the season, but they remain tied for first place as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks were idle tonight. Both teams remain tied for first with 30 points on the season. Some of the top performers tonight for the Brewster Whitecaps would be the leadoff hitter, Dom Canzone. He went 4 for 5 with 2 runs, drove in 3 to really set the table for Brewster. Jesse Franklin also had a multi-hit game. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI, and catcher Joe Donovan went 2 for 3 with an RBI single in that as well. So it was just a tough night overall for the Gatemen, but they look to get back at it again tomorrow night, and we're going to send it to a break before we get our interview with our player of the game, Brendan White. And we are back for our player of the game interview. We are here with reliever today, Brendan White. Brendan went 4 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs, 1 earned, gave up 3 hits, walked 1 batter, struck out 4, and retired the last 9 men he faced. So Brandon, on a tough day for the pitching staff on the whole, how were you able to shut down the Whitecaps hitters?
Well, I needed to make some adjustments. When I came in the first 1 2/3, I didn't really, I was trying to be too fine with my pitches, and I was missing my spots, and that's when I was giving up the hits and hitting guys. So I had to make an adjustment and move to my slider, and then I was able to work off that a lot more and get guys out.
Mm-hmm. And so going off of that, might have been a little bit of rust for you because you hadn't pitched in over a week. So when you are finally called today to go in the game, how do you keep that mindset? You haven't pitched in a week. What are you looking to do out there and provide good innings for your team?
It's tough during the waiting, but once your name gets called, it immediately gets flushed. You're excited to go in, and that's what I was. I wanted to get my work in, and I just wanted to stay locked in and do the best that I can to maybe get an opportunity earlier next time for this next week.
Mm-hmm. And so for you today, this was one of your longer outings of the year. In any of your previous couple outings, you hadn't gone more than 2 innings. Today you went 4 2/3. Just talk to me about pitching in a longer game like that, knowing it's long relief as opposed to maybe just an inning or 2.
I had always been a starter at school, so I'm used to trying to drag out my innings, and I was more comfortable with that. Going in, I knew that I wanted to finish the game right away. So I just needed to settle in and keep my mindset locked in like I was starting another ball game.
Mm-hmm. And this was a great outing for you, so how are you going to be able to build off this going forward?
Well, I take the positives and negatives. So the negatives today, I was trying to be too fine and trying to place my curveball too much. So work on that during this next week and continue with the positives and make some adjustments.
Okay, Brendan. And lastly, it seems like as a team you guys are in a little bit of a funk. It seems like you'll win a game or two, then drop a couple, and kind of playing 500 baseball right now. So what do you guys need to do to be able to get on a roll and just get out there and kind of win 3 or 4 in a row and really get hot again?
I think if we just, if the pitching staff doesn't have days like this where we're back and forth, and we just get a few runs and, kind of things fall into place where defense makes a good play or two, a few runs come in early in the game, and the pitching shuts us down, I think we'll start to get into a roll like we were doing in the beginning of the season.
Perfect. That's all we have for you. Brandon, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yep. Yep. Thanks, man. Thank you. Nice to meet you. All set? Do you want to just let me back on now? Just give me 1 sec to... And we'd like to thank Brandon White for coming on and being our player of the game and doing that interview with us. And that's going to wrap it up for us on the Gatemen Baseball Network. And as always, we'd like to thank you for tuning in, listening for part of the game, all of the game. Just thank you for joining us on the Gatemen Baseball Network. We'd also like to mention that our general manager of the team is Andrew Lang. We'd like to thank him, in addition to thanking our sideline reporter, Mary Orders, and also our play-by-play and color commentators for tonight, Henrique Demore and J.D. Rachi. The next Gatemen broadcast will be tomorrow night as the Gatemen take on the Chatham Anglers at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage will roughly begin at 6:30 p.m. on the Wareham Gatemen YouTube channel. For everyone involved in today's broadcast, I'm Ian Becerra, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Gatemen Baseball Network.